What's up, everyone? Make sure you check out the West West Network website at westwestnet.com. Here you can find amazing independent podcasts based in Aotearoa, covering everything from pop culture to mental health. Also, if you enjoy our content and want to support us, please consider clicking on the support button on the homepage of the website. We appreciate your patronage and look forward to delivering more thought-provoking and quality conversations.
West, y'all.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Happy Thursday.
Yes. Thanks for having her who grabbed me to be on tonight.
Look, all I want to say is that, like, I don't know how many times I hooked up. I reached out to Sunny because part of me thinks that she's just jealous of my singing voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So she never invited me onto her show, but it's all good. I'm not hating.
Well, I'm glad you're on this show because then you can show us your talents.
Yeah.
There you go.
Show us.
There you go.
There you go. Cynthia, you're
Acapella, is
missing
it?
out.
Yeah.
Fella?
It's not even that. It's just haters gonna hate.
So how's your week been, guys? How's your week been? Because my week's been awful. It's been busy as. Like, I haven't got no breaks at all this week.
Just this week?
Yeah, just this week. Oh, it's going to be the whole month of August because we're, like, so busy.
Building wise, like with building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elaborate, like.
I mean, we got this one project that's, like, it's taken... Because I have to do overtime. I have to do overtime all month.
Bring it home, like, or stay on.
I'd rather stay at work because no one's around, no distractions and that. But
No, yeah, busy. I think it's the understatement. I think everyone's busy now, eh? Like everyone's. I don't even know if you can blame COVID no more because everyone wants stuff now. Everyone wants you to do 10 extra things every single day. But tired. That's why it's so good to sit back with a wine and be with you guys and have a laugh.
because you know what? Because you know when we had the lockdowns and that was the first time, like, us as a society just stopped.
Yeah. And it wasn't just us, it was like the whole world. So you felt like, we're all banding together, doing our part,
Yeah.
Locking down. And the first one was fun, interesting, because you've never ever done that before. And the second one came around, you're getting a bit, oh, wow. And then now, just the thought of having another lockdown, and you just realise how busy you are, and if everything goes on hold, that work ain't going to go nowhere. I mean, you could probably do things at home, different jobs, or you couldn't, with stores and stuff like that. So everything.
I still worked from home during lockdown. Like, it's a bit weird for me. Like, right now we're going through a labour shortage, right?
Yeah.
Every business within New Zealand, they're struggling. They're struggling to find people to come work in their businesses. So you start looking out and you start thinking, like, do we need to open up these borders? Do we need to let internationals in? Is this what the problem is? And there's actually layers to that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, so we've got this, like, second-tier management, right, that you would normally fill with probably, like, internationals. Borders are closed. So, people actually get that opportunity to, like, step up into that position that they normally wouldn't. Like, you're looking at people that are within your business that you normally wouldn't look at. But you're like, I need this position filled.
Yeah.
And then, so...
Is that what they're doing? Are they doing that?
Well, I 100% believe that businesses are doing that.
Yeah. But then you got to think: are they the right people? Do they have?
It's this, like, the biggest thing for us is, like, India's massive, right?
Yeah.
From a labour perspective,
Yeah.
India's massive. Now, these people, they come to New Zealand and they do education and they do this and they get all these business degrees and stuff like that. And then you've got Polynesian people that they're doing the hard yards, bro. Like, they're like, I'm going to start from day dot and I'm going to go, like, clean out this and I'm going to do this. And then you give these people the opportunity because that's it there. Because these borders are fully closed. Yeah. So you, on a plus side, people within New Zealand who have New Zealand citizenship, have New Zealand residency, they get these different types of opportunities.
Yeah.
But there's still a shortage.
Well, big time. And it's not just here. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you just go on, read the paper and stuff like that. There's shortages everywhere. Everywhere you go, you hear about, you hear it within New Zealand about how many people just fruit picking, how meat works and all that. So they had to reach out to the islands. I mean, there was heaps of raros. We've got quite a few family members that have come over that do hospitality work, and now they've got to come over and do meat work for the money. And then now there's a shortage of people, workers in Raro. So now they've got to bring over people from Fiji. And just the ripple effect of everywhere there's a shortage, and you're just grabbing people left, right and centre where you can. But trying to fill those positions, I don't even know if it's because the borders are closed or what. I mean, you could fill them with overseas people, but how many people in New Zealand don't have jobs that can work, have either decided, they're not qualified enough, so, like you said, don't have the confidence to fill that position, or just don't want to.
Yeah, I heard a stat on the news today. It's like 400,000 people on the benefit at the moment.
And a lot of them, I think some of them are, I would say a small percentage of them are on that benefit because they want to make a stand of some sort, like, no, you let me go from my job that I've been working at because I wasn't going to get vaccinated, so I'm not going to work anywhere else unless I get that same job back with the same pay, with the same this, I'm going to stay on the benefit. And then you have others that, I don't know, for whatever reason, just...
I'm in like I'm in two minds here. Like the last 3 years, like, nobody can deny it, it's been pretty tough. And anybody that's involved in business, it's definitely been tough. But we've now been presented with two opportunities where you have a group of people that are like, hey, we get these, and I'm talking about lockdowns. I get $600. Can I live on that? What are actually my needs and wants? You know what I mean? It's like, so we're stuck at home for all this time. Wait a minute. Like, I stayed home for 7 weeks on $600. Like, is that me? Like, it paid my rent, it paid this, it paid that. Do I actually need more to survive?
And now that all these, like we were saying, all these positions opened up, would you ever change your job to go somewhere else, knowing that there's all these places that you could go into that you may have wanted to go into before, or you feel?
Yeah, I think at this time of my life, I think it'd be good to have a career change.
Yeah.
But it's just that timing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that time, because I think right now it's all about how can I get some time back.
Right.
To be with my family, to don't have to work a 9 to 5. Can have a 4-day week instead. Have
perspectives
a free
have
day weekend.
changed, right?
Yeah.
I think if COVID has taught us anything, it's your perspective changes.
Well, there's a whole working from home thing, that
Yeah.
sort of forced everyone into, and now
Yeah.
businesses are realizing that we can actually save money.
Exactly.
We have people working from home.
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, we've got like my sister-in-law, she does few days at home. No, because she can, as long as she's got her computer and a telephone line, she's all good. Whereas she said before COVID, there would be no way. If people were working from home, it was like, this...
Like taboo.
Yeah, you can't work from home, what do you mean? And now it's become the norm. So, but yeah, it's just weird. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever... Like, I see all these jobs opening up and I'm thinking, man, I've always wanted to do that or do this. And I thought, nah, I'm too comfortable where I am. I don't know if it's comfort or just scared in case we do go into another lockdown and those positions end.
Yeah.
And because, they always say last on, first off. So I'm like, nah, yeah. But
Well,
when
you talk about, before it was a taboo thing to work from home. Now, we're forced to do it, sort of thing. And now, it sort of like comes back to the thing where a supervisor or boss doesn't trust their workers to work from home, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the old school way.
Yeah.
Are you actually really
Working.
working? But now, when you throw mental health into it, it's a big thing too, because when you talk about working 9 to 5, now you get your flexibility to work from home, and it does mean you have to limit yourself to that 9 to 5. You can work, you can do your 40 hours a week any day of the week.
Exactly.
And you can have extra time to do some stuff for your family.
Yep.
Maybe look after your health. Maybe you want to go gym more times a week. It's all to do with like your mental health and your state of mind. And I think that's sort of like the new way that people are trying to look at it as well.
I kind of get that, and I work for a business that has, in the position that I am, they've always kind of preached that. It's like, yo, well, like, work what you need to do, travel when you need to travel. But when you're brought up through that working environment, like, that switch is not as easy, right?
Yeah.
When you're brought up in an environment where you have to work those kind of hours, even though that you've got like a business that tells you, hey, like, just chill out, just do what you need to do, answer the emails that you need to answer, do whatever it is that you want to do. Like, I have a job that, like, in the position that I am, it's demanding, but it's very flexible.
And that's weird, eh? Because
It's demanding, but
those
flexible.
two usually don't. But no, you're
Yeah,
right.
it's very.
Because it's demanding, but you can actually do your work anytime you want. And
You know what?
Get the job done.
The reality for me is that, like, I probably could work from home. I could sit at home and I could open my laptop and I could look at numbers and I could send out emails. But I think it's like the essence of a person. Unless you're talking to someone face to face, like, are you going to... the biggest shift that I've seen from my company is Zoom. And that includes, like, employing people.
Yeah.
You don't get the same feel when you're sitting in front of that person.
Yeah,
You can Zoom,
that's right.
you can Zoom all you want. And I've done Zoom interviews with people and, like, you know what? They've been fantastic. And then I actually sit down with them and I was like, man, if I sat down with this person,
Because
like,
they're in their comfort zone. They're in their
God's,
home,
Right.
you know.
yeah, in God's green earth, like, that was a hell no.
Yeah.
And then the problems develop later on. It's bizarre. Like, you know, Zoom is quite normal now.
Yeah, it is now.
It's like the normal. Like at our work, we Zoom all the time.
I feel like it's trying to find that balance. And I feel like because it's so new, a new thing, we haven't figured it out yet, kind of.
Brings me to that. I just heard on the radio this morning, I don't know if it's on Apple AirPlay or something, a new program, I think it's called Severed or Severance, where
Oh, Severance. Yeah. I've
where
seen
you
that.
can you can choose what mind you want, either a home life type of way of having, so you don't know anything about your work life, or your work life type of mind. And I'm thinking, that's out of it, because it's the way that we actually are heading towards either like, now everyone's catching up. You know, catching up, you're always like 10 steps behind, trying to catch up, and that's why we're all so tired and you feel overworked. And then, but you look at the grand scheme of things, like you were saying, it's quite flexible, and you can choose your own hours. Is it because we're brought up in a society where you have to turn up and do your 9 to 5? You know, family life, you want family life. At the end of the day, everyone wants that, and want that balance, but I don't know, is it because we were always brought up to be hard workers and to put those hours in? And, I mean, you're doing overtime, like you said, to catch up on work, but at the end of the day...
It's still there. It's
It's
still
still
there.
there.
Yeah. And that's capitalism for you, right?
Yeah, well,
That's-
the thing is that I'll just give you some perspective from here. Like, you know, both Kata and I, like, at some stage in Kata's life, but majority of my life, we grew up in Rarotonga. And our family had a family business. And when you say things like family business, guess what? The only people that are actually working in that business are family.
Yeah.
We had
But it started way before that. They had a market business. So, you know, we were working at 7, 8 years old.
You know, you
instilled in us.
and that's it. Like, you know, we were Otara flea markets with our grandma cooking cakes. That was Sunday. But the thing is, nobody sees the Friday and Saturday where you're actually doing that stuff to make that happen. So we've actually come through an upbringing where it's like, you work, you sell, you get the money. Times have changed, and the biggest thing is that, like, I attended this seminar that was done by ASB Bank about, like, and it was about generations and the different generations that happen. And guess what? Our generation, few and far between. The generation that's coming now, they want flexible working hours.
Yeah.
They want a different kind of life. And, like, we sit here and we laugh, but guess what? There's less of us in this business. There's less of us now in the workforce. These guys that are coming through, there's more of them. And the people that actually have to adjust is us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
I've
quite
seen that
scary,
too.
right?
I've
Like,
seen that
I
too.
think about it all the time, and like I deal with people all the time, and like, you know, when I get a phone call from a staff member, well, actually, I don't get from staff. I deal with managers, and they say, "Oh, so and so has rung me, and they're having a mental health dialogue." Like, my first instinct is like, "What the?
But you've got to, mental
What
health.
the? What do you mean?"
I mean, that's a new thing, right?
yeah,
That's the
they're not
new-
having a great day today. They need a mental health day, and you're just like,
And if you don't give it, you can be in a whole lot of trouble.
I mean, that's the whole
Social
thing.
media can,
But that's the whole thing with mental health. Like, it's been popularized because of suicides, and it's the thing to make it normal, make the conversation.
I love that
make the
people-
conversation
yeah.
normal when you talk about.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
love
why you're
that.
hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
I love
Yeah.
that, but people, you don't want people playing on it. Oh, you know what? I just can't be. Just say you can't be bothered. Bring up, hey, I'm feeling like crap. Like, I really can't be bothered coming in today. Don't use all this. Oh, I've got mental health day and this and that and blah blah blah. Because then, the next person who wants to say that, you start looking at them like,
Yeah, there's a thing of taking it too far, right?
Look, here's the new thing for me is that, like, I have workers that they've exhausted all their sick leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's gone.
and new workers.
And you know what? We're gone to 10 days now. That 5 days, that's gone. We're like, the government came out, Labour came out, and we were like, yo, we're giving everyone 10 days. Here's my new one. My uncle passed away. And you're like, oh,
what can you do?
what can you do?
What can you do?
And
Hey,
then
it's
we're
mental health.
Hey,
Mate.
Yeah.
and my boss is like, ask for a death cert. You asked
You
for
asked for it.
Why don't you ask for the death? I'm not fucking. As Islanders, the way that we respect death is like, and because you know why? Everybody's our uncle. It doesn't matter if it's the cousin of the cousin of the cousin. Everyone's kind of like our uncle, and it's like, my uncle died.
Yeah.
And like, the last thing I'm going to do, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Is that like your mother's brother or your father's brother? No, I'm like, man, I'm so sad.
And they don't even live in New Zealand.
And I'm like this. And every single time my boss is like, get his cert, and I like respond with the same thing. I'm sorry for your loss.
Because the boss is Pākehā.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like,
You
no,
don't-
we
they
want
don't
an
understand.
official,
Yeah.
and he's old timer. So
But on the same thing, like, I've been raised by this woman in my life, which
yeah.
is our grandma, who is probably one of the most hardest workers that we've ever met.
Yeah.
She worked a full-time job, still did the markets in the weekend, and like our grandmother installed to us, if you don't work, you don't eat. And if you don't control people, you won't eat. And in part of it, like, you're like, we've been instilled by this person, like, you got to work. You have to work. You have to get up every day and you got to work.
Yeah.
And then you have these people that's like, so my uncle died. And you're like,
or
I'm sorry for your loss.
you turn up to work, right? And sometimes I feel like absolute crap. And they look at me, oh, you look like crap, you should go home. And part of me are saying, yeah, I really need to go home. But then that guilt. But if I go home,
there's the guilt.
Yeah.
But the work's not going to crumble and fall apart because you've gone home. So I'm trying to learn that balance of looking after yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, no one else will, blah, blah, blah.
I see a lot of that kind of stuff, right? Like, if you were going home and you're thinking about your job, and if you call in sick and you want to call sick and you feel guilty about it, like, I see a lot of that. You need to find a new job.
Yeah.
And then it's
Do you
like,
think people play on that? Like, yeah, I can call in sick, I can take the day off, because who else are you going to call?
I think there's a thing of maybe a little bit of unhappiness being at the job if you feel guilty about doing that.
It's
Because
not that,
I'm
it's just
gonna-
that, because we're, yeah, like you're saying,
I'm going to
because
tell
we're-
you, here's the thing, like, and she talks to me all the time, and she gives me lectures all the time, and like, I'm going to be straight up with you. You pay me six figures. You pay me 6 figures a year, and we will have a different conversation. I was a teenage mother. I had my first child I was pregnant at 17, had a kid at 18. And here I am, I'm earning more money than people that went to university. And if you're going to tell me they shouldn't do that to you and you should and you pay me 6 figures plus a year. And then we're going to have a different conversation. You show me a job that's going to
We just
pay
need to know our worth.
someone
yeah.
like me. And that's when you're a teenage mother and you do this type of stuff and you go through life and you do this type of stuff, you're led to believe you're nothing. And then all of a sudden you pull yourself out of that place and you become something, and then everyone's like, what they do to you is not great, and I can't believe you do all of this. And it's like, I know, and it's hard work, and like I'm fucking tired, and like I'm fucking stressed. But you know what? You tell me a job that's going to be paying me a bonus of, for like on average, I get a bonus of like $3,000 a month. What job in New Zealand's doing that? Nobody. And it's
Not my job.
it's fucking cash, bro. And it's like, I have a base salary, I get on average $3,000 a month in a bonus. Like, hold on a minute. So like a store in Hamilton's being ram raided. Like, let me just go have a shower, get changed. I'm fucking driving down there. Different. I earn more money than most people that went to uni.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and it's strange too, because as a kid being brought up as a wonders, like our parents always thought that you're gonna go to university, be a doctor or a lawyer. There was 2 jobs you had to. There's the only 2 jobs that our parents saw that were like.
And then they send us to Waitak, and you're like,
Hold on a minute.
we ain't going to be no doctor or lawyer. But no, yeah.
But you grow up thinking that, you
Yeah.
know, and then anything else is just
I
sick
don't
and
think
rate,
there was
you
any
know?
expectation of us, like grandchildren, to be anything but a successful lawyer, nothing like that, but running the family business. And that was it, just work. That, I don't know, our uncle is the only one who became a lawyer, that I guess because...
We've got like 2nd generation, 3rd generation now that are actually going to uni, and they're doing what they do, and like we couldn't be any more prouder than our
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyone that does better than you, like what, good on
But
you.
it's weird, yeah, 'cause we don't have the expectation of them. They've chosen that path, and it's not because we didn't want it, or we didn't voice it, but we were just like, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't.
But you work hard, eh?
Oh yeah, as
Yeah,
long as
you
you
work
work
hard.
hard.
Yeah, here's how I
That's
think.
all
Here's
I
how I
think.
think about how to get the big money in any job. Right, the job you have to be really good at the job, and you can't be really good at the job unless you put the time into it. So, 10 years doing the same job, you're bound to be expert doing the
yeah,
job. If
yeah,
that job
it's
is
not,
in a high market where it makes a lot of money, well, you're gonna get paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
So I think those are instead of thinking, lawyer and doctor, these are the jobs that we have to get the money. It's not the case anymore.
no.
You know.
Especially now, if anything, you go by with COVID, who'd want to be a doctor these days?
Yeah, exactly.
Nurse, teacher.
I just think this. If you're in an opportunity to work in a business where it's not your business, but if you can actually work with people that are they're funding the business, your life's going to kind of change. Like I said, my life, pregnant at 16, had a baby at 18. But I'll tell you what, I actually worked for one of the conglomerates, which is like Sky City, youngest pit manager in gaming. How do you do that? You don't do that because of who you do that because you work hard. You show them that you're smart.
And you can't teach someone to work hard.
Yeah, and
No,
that's
no.
it. So, one of the youngest poker managers in the world, travelled all over Asia and stuff like that, doing poker, working for a company like Poker Stars. I worked for Poker Stars on my annual leave because, like, I was a young mum. All of my annual leave for my kids, like, I missed out so much with my kids because I spent a good time of my annual leave travelling overseas, working in poker tournaments. Why? So that my kids could do the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
You
What?
know?
You were playing poker?
No.
Oh, you are working behind the-
worked.
yeah.
I worked like doing poker tournaments and
In
stuff like
Macau,
that.
wasn't it?
In Macau, and like and like
Queenstown, when they had all those big
Yeah, so,
poker
like,
tournaments.
I worked at Sky City, started off as a table games dealer, became a pit manager, then I looked after poker at Sky City. In my annual leave, I picked up a subcontract working for Poker Stars, ran poker tournaments over in Asia,
Oh, wow.
and that was it. So my annual leave was like explaining to your kids, I've got to go to
Yeah.
Macau for like 2 weeks. Of course, they're not going to understand at that age. They're not going to understand. You piss off to like Macau for like 2 weeks, but I was getting paid $5,000 a week in Australian dollars. Come back to New Zealand, my daughter's like playing for like Auckland Touch, which is like easily 3K gone, you know, and it was like that kind of stuff, just trying to kind of balance it. I just believe, and I think that this is what a lot of people, there's this sentiment that's going around right now that I deserve shit. No, you work for shit, man. If you
Everyone
want
gets a
it,
certificate.
Who's been saying that?
Everyone gets a certificate. You get one because you turned up. You
But
got
that's
one
it right
because
there.
you tied your laces.
I remember, you know, and Kata says that, but I remember sitting with Lydia and she didn't make like some touch team. So like for the whole of my daughter's life, she's always played, like she's been up with like Austin and them, you know.
Yeah.
She didn't make some team. You didn't play, and like my message to her, you didn't play hard enough, you weren't good enough, it's all good, da 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 da. And like what I did was, instead of being these kind of parents that they are these days of, we need to go and talk to them, nah, what I want you to do,
Write
go
a
talk to
complaint.
the coach. What do you need to do?
What need
And
to
what
work on?
Lydia actually did was she talked to the coach, and the coach let her train with that team, even though she's not part of it. Like, you just need to go talk to them. What do you need to work on, and all this kind of stuff. I've never made my kids believe that you're entitled to anything. Like, nobody in this world is entitled to shit. Nobody's going to give you shit. The only people that are actually going to give you shit is your parents. Why? Because they fucking love you, and that's it.
You know, when we talk about the new generation coming up, and they're not really resilient as we were growing up.
No way.
Where do you guys think that comes from?
I reckon social media. I mean,
I don't think it's that at all.
I reckon it is only because everything's out
No
there.
way.
So you're not learning from stuff. You're like, okay, well, I need to be this way, but that person's that way, and I idolize that person. So if
Right.
they're not handling it like that, maybe I need to handle it like that because everyone loves them. And you're like, hey, no, because the way they're handling it is shit.
I believe that it's this. We grew up in a certain way and we grew up in a certain era, and we always believe, you know what, if we provide our kids with a certain amount of stuff and a certain amount of attention and a certain amount of this, they will be different to us. We didn't have to work. You know, our generation, like our parents were like, fuck you.
But, you know, and we
You
were
get-
allowed to stay home by yourselves.
Yeah.
Like our parents
Our
had to work.
parents were just
There was
like-
no, you
Yeah.
had to be
It would-
14,
you know what? It didn't even
Osh,
matter
or
if
not
they were
Osh.
working.
What's
Our
that?
parents could be at the
Whanga
fucking pub and you're sitting in the car park. It didn't matter shit.
Or sitting in
our
there.
parents were just like, it's a fuck you
You had to learn
generation.
it.
We are the fuck you generation. I'm just being straight up
Yeah.
here. We're the fuck you generation. Do what it is. You learn what it is to survive. My life's my life. That's what our parents were like. Go. Get outside.
I mean, how many
Didn't
times,
it-
Yeah,
you went
yeah,
outside.
yeah, yeah. We
You
played
went
outside.
Didn't
all the
even
time.
matter if it was fucking raining or shit. Get outside. When you come inside, wash your feet at the hose. Like
Drink out of the hose. Don't
Yeah.
go inside and get a drink.
But remember, back
I'm
then we had no
thirsty.
internet, so
No.
It doesn't matter about internet.
I reckon, yeah.
Then
Kids are getting...
all of us, we grew up going, I'm not going to be my mum and dad. I'm not doing that. I'm going to provide my kids with the best. You know what? You know who the enemy of today's kids' youth is? It's us. Why? Because we didn't want them living the life that... And then look what the fuck we created. We created these motherfuckers that think that they can go to work and be like, you know what? I just don't want to be here
Yeah,
today. And you know what? Like, I'm just having a
My
bad...
mum said...
Yeah, who created the... We fucking created these guys. And you're just like,
And we don't know why.
yo.
Because we don't want that for our kids. We don't know why we do that to them, or it
internet must be a big part of it.
Has to
Social
be.
media. Social
has
media.
to be because
Look.
you want them to listen to you. You
Yeah.
want your kids to listen to you and only you, but then they've got 40 other people on social media, their friends or friends and friends and friends, who are telling them otherwise. So it's not just you against, you and your child coming head to head. It's you, your child, and 40 other people behind them saying, you know what, your mum's a idiot. And then the fear of being recorded and you did this and you're going to get blasted everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't care. If we did something wrong, it got talked about for
Yeah.
maybe a week, couple of days, and that was it. But no one remembered it because there was no evidence.
I
Now-
just think this.
Right.
I think that we didn't want our children living the lives that we did because it was fucking hard. And like, you know what? Some of our parents, they were fucking mean, bro. There wasn't zero
But was it-
filter.
Maybe
There
it
was
was just
zero. No, there was zero filter with our parents. They're always going to tell us what it is. Then you know what? So
Hiding
we brought our kids up going, we're not going to do that. We're going to provide them with whatever it is, the stuff that we didn't have. Did you have a TV in your room?
But you're talking about material things now.
No.
But
Like
you know
growing
what?
up, I'm just saying, growing up, we didn't have TVs in our room, but our kids have TVs in their room. And then you talk to me about the internet. The internet is the added. As parents, we've laid the foundation of we don't want them to live
It's
the way
because-
that we did. Then you add the internet. And I'm just going to say things like our children start believing that it's shit like this. That shit's real. And it's like, yo, that shit's not real.
and that's because
I'm
we
going to
work
be an
a lot.
influencer. Like, I'm going to tell you now.
It's about the likes now. The likes.
No. And that's it. Like,
all
you
that.
get influencers. And then, this person does this and they can... No. Like, just no. You know, I am... Like, I just don't believe in influencers at all. Like, I'm just one of those people. Like, you know what? Get a real fucking job. Work like the rest of us. Don't go to businesses and start demanding that, like, I can do this and I get this many views. Like, just fuck off. Like, to be quite honest, like, fuck off.
I agree with you. What I'm trying to understand, because I think about it too, you know, with the kids these days. Is it something that it could be stopped or controlled, or it just couldn't? I mean, we were just asking for it. We had no, because you know what we're talking about, the new generation coming up. We just can't stop that shit.
I'm going to tell
We
you
just
now
gotta deal
that
with it.
there's actually...
Adapt and learn.
Adapt and learn. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now that, like, if you look back and you pull up your phone and you open it up and you look at something and it was about the youth of today and they wouldn't be able to survive in today's day and da-da-da-da. And if you actually look at the origination of that quote, it's actually from Socrates. That's from fucking Greek times. The stuff that we are facing is not new. It's generational. It just goes on and on and on.
It's not new, but I feel like it's just come about in a short period of time. Like it's been like, you know, it's like it's coming fast.
Oh yeah.
That we can handle.
And
you
the
know?
world's getting faster and
Yeah,
faster
yeah,
and
yeah.
faster because
Technology is changing all the time.
you're,
and we
you're
just can't keep
connected.
up.
Yeah, you're connected in so many facets of everything. No, you don't know, like, I don't know, this podcast tonight, you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's going to be taking, like, oh, blah, 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 said this, and there's going to be a ripple effect. You know, who else is going to do that and what else? And then the message gets, like, we could be saying, be a hard worker, and then they'll take it like, oh, she's saying that we're lazy. And then next minute, oh, not just lazy and useless. Not just lazy and useless. Oh, well, we can have a mental health day because we're dumb. And next minute, the whole message, all we're saying is like, just work hard, has been misconstrued. And next minute, we're calling the youth of tomorrow dumb, useless, lazy people. And we're like, no, that's not what we were trying to say.
Yeah.
But because it's out there and there's no taking it back.
I just
Yeah,
think
that's right.
that it's like human nature, to be quite honest. Like, if you go back, like you throw it back, are you telling me that people back in the days that were watching things like Woodstock and shit like that, are you saying they weren't thinking any different to how we're sitting here thinking today? No, life progresses. You know what? And each progression, it looks different every single time. But what we're facing now is no different to what people are facing back then. Technology is always going to be around 100%. Humans are always going to evolve 100%. And all I'm saying is every battle that we are facing, it's no different to the previous battle.
We just don't know how to deal with the current battle, right?
Well, no,
That's
no, no,
human.
no.
We're still
Like,
learning
yeah.
along the way.
Yeah,
We're
like
just going with the flow, really.
Every generation is fighting its own kind of battle. Like every generation is always going to be different from every single
And
generation.
maybe we're finding new ways to fight it instead of just doing the old.
And that's
what
it.
they
Like,
did.
you know, you can't tell me that like people back in the 40s don't look back at like all their kids and being like, yo, what you doing? And they're shaking their fingers just like we're shaking. It's generational. Why?
Yeah,
Because humans progress. Do I think that kids these days know a lot more than what we do?
I don't-
In essence, a little bit.
But that's human
But-
nature, like you said. Human nature is that the new always overcomes the old.
Yeah, but like, just because, like, kids these days, they've got access to internet and they can, like, look at porn and shit, it doesn't mean...
I was going to think of, like...
I'm just being legit,
like
right?
TV programs.
No, just because they have...
cartoons.
Kids have a lot more access to information than we did at our age. But it doesn't mean that they understand that shit.
Doesn't mean that exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Common sense,
and you know what?
was
It's no
lacking.
difference from somebody who went and they were fighting in World War One, and they were like, you know, they went in there and they did that and they fucking survived that shit, and they came out and they looked like they were 70 when they came out, and they're like, you haven't faced what I've faced. And yet you still had this fucking cunt that was 13 years old that was like, you don't know, I know more than you. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Imagine 16 years old, World War Once as a 16-year-old going out there to fight for your country.
Which a lot of these guys were, eh?
Yeah,
Young,
they just
And
Young
these
shit of
16 years
themselves,
old
right?
now are fighting for rights to be called, I don't know, whatever, or rights to wear shorts, or rights to, you're like, right. Is it because, I mean, to them, that's a big thing. To us, no. To the ones before us, you got to be kidding.
Look, the
And
biggest
that's it.
thing
We just
is
got to
that,
understand that everyone's battling different things.
100, and all of these young people is like, I want you to identify me as me because I am this, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're this or if they're A, if they're B, and they're like, you know, there's so many letters in the alphabet and stuff like that. But as parents, we're like, yo, clean your fucking room, mate. Like, because
That's
you
all
know
we
what?
want. That's all
we want as parents. Like, clean your room.
Clean your
because
room.
it stinks of ass. And you know what? It doesn't matter. You don't own this house. I do. Like, just clean your shit, mate.
And it's like, it's not fair. It's not fair. You don't understand me. Nah, it's not like we don't understand you. It's like we know filth. Just do that.
And that's like, it's
Everyone will be
bizarre for
happy,
me.
and that will probably end it all of trying to understand you because we're all happy. You're happy because we're not on your case, and we're happy because your room doesn't smell like ass. And that's just it at the end of the day. That could be it in a nutshell. That's it.
I think this last 5 minutes we've talked about, or we've touched on, you know, a little bit of political correctness going on. Identity politics is a big one nowadays. The way society's going, you know, you have to be a lion to a tribe. You know, you have to be, and people have to know where you stand on each of these issues that are happening now.
But why? Yeah.
Because internet tells you to.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me is like, you know what? I'm Toni Quedley from 26 Fairmont Ave that lives in Titirangi. Why do you give a fuck what I think?
Well, but that's the thing. The individual,
Why?
the individual is gone now in this society. You have to be part of a group now.
Group, yeah.
I'll tell you what, like, I don't actually care. I don't care if you're gay or all this type of stuff. But when you start spouting to me about
How I should live my life,
well,
me.
how I should be presenting to you, I'm just like, but I'm just Toni Quedley from fucking 26 Titirangi, mate. Like, I don't care. Like, all I want to do,
is that a
I just
problem,
want to pay
though,
my fucking
that
rates,
you don't
mate.
count as a person. Like you think your voice, or I'm just this person, but
Yeah.
maybe you're that person who has the voice to, I mean, you've got a big voice. You got things to say. People
Not
might
really.
listen.
I just care about myself, and I just want to pay my bills. Like that's the essence of things. And then you get people in groups like here. We're gonna come into sports right now, and we're gonna start bringing stuff in, like the Manly guys.
Yeah.
Like and with the rainbow. I feel this. You know what, guys? You're paid to do a job. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what jersey you wear, just fucking wear it. But in the same sense, I'm like, hold on a minute, like this same group of people, like Izzy can't play anymore because he said shit. I don't care what Izzy said, to be quite honest. I don't give a fuck. Is it because I'm not gay? Well, you can turn around and say, yeah, it's because you're not, and you don't understand my pain. And it's like, you know what? You don't fucking understand my pain. I've been through pain too. And how come I have to understand your pain? But as a person that had kids when they're teenagers, that didn't have parents that fucking actually looked after them, how come I have to understand your pain, but you don't have to understand my pain? I don't give a fuck what Izzy said. What Izzy said is what he said. They're just words, mate.
The problem with that whole identity politics came into the corporate world. So the corporates, they care about it now. And Wallabies at the time was sponsored by Qantas, and Qantas is pretty forward when it comes to stuff like this. So when Izzy said that, it went against Qantas's policies.
And that's
so
it. So it wasn't what he said. It's because if you look back at it, Qantas was going to get a bad rap because you're sponsoring this guy.
Exactly.
So if you
continue,
yeah,
yeah,
then that means you agree with him. And they were like, okay, I need to take away this from you, to take away that from you, and you're no longer going to play. But if you go to Qantas and say, so what didn't you like about it? Did you believe what he said? You know?
Like, for me personally, I'm like, well, what
Everything's business these days.
What he believes is what he believes. Because you know what? Like, you'll be fucking scared to believe what I believe. If you get down to the true essence of humans, like, you get down to it. Like, how many times have you, like, actually said, fucking white people, fucking Maoris, fucking Islander. Like, the true essence of people. So what? This guy said it out loud. Oh, fuck, I don't give a fuck. His life and his way doesn't influence us. And everyone's like, yeah, but what he says influences kids.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You buy your kids everything they want when they probably need a fucking hiding. Like,
I mean, that was one of the big arguments when those 7 players from Manly Seagulls stood down. I think Ian Roberts came out and said, because he's gay, and he said that, you know, what if there was a
wouldn't
gay
have
kid?
happened at the Warriors, just saying.
He said, what
Because
if...
you're a Bird Game fan, right?
Yeah, I am.
Both
I
are.
am. Yeah, we are.
The
We
Bird Game
Manly
fan,
play
like
that
Warriors
team.
would never do that because
It's
you know
our
what, we're very inclusive at the Warriors.
Warriors will
Since,
play anybody.
you know, 25 years, just saying.
The Warriors don't wear any pride in their jerseys anyway,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
I'm just going to take Jazz's one right here and just say that, like, you know, we've got more jerseys and trophies, which is pretty true.
But see, you're right, because they're throwing that argument, right? Ian Roberts threw in that argument, hey, what if a gay kid that idolizes these players heard the story and committed suicide? What? Are you serious?
But what then?
Are you
Are you
serious?
responsible
Are you
for
serious?
that? And that's the thing for me. It's like, so they've got to be responsible for that. Like, how much more can you be responsible for? Fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah, but who said that it's going to happen?
Okay, when they signed up to play for Manly, right? They signed up to play. I'm here to play. I'm here to do this, and then they want to bring in all this other stuff, like wear the jersey, do this. We've got to represent everybody here. Well, I am. They didn't come to the game because they're gay. They came to the game because they love the game of league and they want us to win. So if you went to this gay person who was offended saying, okay, so why were you supporting us all these years before this came out? Oh, because I love the team. I'm a Manly supporter through and through. So now that I'm not wearing the jersey, are you still going to support us because we're not going to do it? Or I don't know.
I just think it's that, like, there's so much going on in the world right now. If we fucking bow over to everything, then who are we? Who are you as an individual? Like, you can't do this, is going to offend these people. You can't say this because, like, fuck
And you know,
mate.
all that stuff's happened in the last, 3 years?
Yeah, why? Because the
It's sort of
internet.
overnight, right?
You know, when you're talking about kids and the internet, like, get the internet fucking...
Is it because they want numbers in the crowd? You know, do they want people to buy tickets? So they thought, oh, hang on, let's make a political view out of this, and we'll see if people will turn up that way. Or we need to bring this team into the limelight, so let's chuck a gay pride jumper at them and say, oh, you got to play. Oh, hang on, but they must have known that these players weren't going to wear that jumper. They must have had team talks before it all came out.
Well, that was the thing. They said they never had team talks. They just sprung this on them the week before.
I doubt that. I doubt that very much.
So after the game, they came out. The boys, they came out and said, we didn't stand down because of the rainbow thing. We stood down because we weren't consulted. About it.
Okay.
Like, we didn't know
What was going
what was
to go
going on, so we decided not to play.
So would they have worn it if they got consulted? Is that what they're saying?
Well, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe if they got consulted weeks before, but they only got the team only got told the week before the game.
Jeepers.
And they were just like, hey,
You must have known, and didn't no one learn from the Izzy Folau thing? Did not?
Well, apparently Hugh Jackman knew weeks before.
See?
Because they went.
So that's what I'm saying. People knew about this. So why, they probably wanted it to make it a big thing. So who's in the papers now? It's Manly. Being a Manly supporter, I love them, but they're not playing very great.
It sounded like a management decision, the club management decision to have that jersey. Des Hasler, he just supported the boys for making that decision, their own decision, because it got nothing to do with, if that's your beliefs, then sure.
Yeah, then stick to what you believe in. And
But on add, because we're Manly supporters, we lost that game because of that.
yeah.
Maybe it's because they stood down, maybe not, but as a league fan and Manly Seagulls fan, that didn't go right.
But you're a Blues fan though, eh?
I'm just going to say this, you know what?
Did you hear
we're talking about all that stuff, and I just
Not
believe
Blues
this.
as in Auckland Blues.
And it might sound controversial, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Based on all that and some of the stuff that we've been talking about, to be quite serious, some motherfuckers just aren't going to survive a zombie apocalypse.
No, you're right.
That's it right there, right? Some people are going to die because it's
Yeah.
just of their beliefs.
But no, because it's all words anyway. It's words as well.
They might cancel it because they've got a mental health day. So
Yeah,
we can't have it on
100.
this
I'm
day.
just saying that if some shit went down right now in the world, some people aren't going to survive. And guess what? It's not going to be the people that have hurt feelings over a fucking rainbow jersey.
But you gotta admit, when it's in the corporate world now, and these guys, and what we're talking about really at the back of all this is diversity, because diversity has been a big thing in business and corporate now.
But you look back at the days when we had when South Africa came to play at Eden Park, right? And there were all those big protests because they didn't have enough black people. No black people could come and play. Would we be as supportive of that protest?
I think so.
I just think this. If the black people went to South Africa, the All Blacks flew over and they said, you can't play because you're too black, and you can't play because you're too black, and you can't play because you're too black, I would have a different reason. But they didn't. You know why? Because the black people that we thought were black in New Zealand, they're not black. That's the reality.
But that was the whole thing.
Yeah, but you're talking about Africans, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about
So the South African tour came to Eden Park.
Yeah. But you're talking about race here.
Yeah.
So
why is there any difference to?
Because they prioritize what probably doesn't deserve to be in front of the line. I don't know if you heard Dave Chappelle joke about this whole thing, but he was joking about how what you're seeing now is all these different tribes, all these different groups, all these identity groups.
Yeah.
They're just pushed in front of the oppressed line.
Yeah.
He joked about the Caitlyn Jenner, right? He's a rich white man turned into a trans white female and pushing in front of the oppressed line.
Yeah.
For the rights of transgender.
Because he had already had that following behind him, so everyone knew who he was. If he
that's true.
Yeah.
But man, black people was fighting for rights for hundreds of years,
and they were always,
and a white male that's trans pushed in line.
But gay people could say the same thing.
But
that's the point.
I don't mean to just throw it in the works there, but I'm do they do themselves any favors? We can sit here and we can talk about it. We actually can. And I'm a firm believer, here's the thing, and we already touched about it a bit earlier. Work hard. If you work hard, you get it.
Why can't that be the?
Why isn't that?
Well, it is still there. You just gotta do it amongst all this other shit over the top.
Exactly.
Like you said, layers. There's a lot of layers to it.
They always add something else.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's it. I look at it and I just think, it's this for me. I've come to New Zealand, and I'm like any other Polynesian that's come to New Zealand. I was actually born in New Zealand. I was taken away. I grew up on the islands. I come back, and I am the epitome of everything that is wrong with anybody that's brown. Teenage mother. Zero education.
But do you think it's
But
because
see,
your
that's the
fear?
resilience. That's the resilience coming through, you know.
So why is it okay for me? But I do not begrudge
Is it because
anybody.
your fear, like you don't look Polynesian?
No, I don't
know?
believe that
Nah,
it's all
I think you cross the line. Once you cross the line to be
Yeah, once you-
a little
I
bit
think-
successful
Yeah.
in your career, right? A little bit successful, you're gonna have the
100.
people under you
And
looking
you know
up
what?
to you
And that's
thinking,
the thing.
okay,
And
we gotta
I
take this
think
person
that we
down.
don't do any Polynesians out there that have like fucking made it in their. Any Polynesian that's out there and they've fucking made it. Like when we start talking about this shit here, we bring all of our brothers and sisters down. No, we are there. Why? Because we fucking worked for it. And I'm sick of hearing, oh, it's this, and white people did this. That's bullshit, bro. Everybody gets the same opportunity in life, and what you fucking do with that, that's on you. But I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing that other people bring other people down. No, the only people that bring people down is yourself. And I'm telling you now, if you look out in the world and you look at any successful Polynesian, they're going to be gutted that we sit here and we talk about this and we talk about that. No, you work hard. You risk it, you get a biscuit. That's
Reap
it.
what you sow, eh?
But I think that's the danger of identity politics, because now you're not part of the minority Polynesians working hard anymore. Now you're successful, got your own shit. Now you're part of the, the upclass.
As humans,
You're in another group now. You're in another group now.
You're the elite.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you're
doesn't-
one of the elite.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
You're
tell
out of
you-
our world.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter what colour I am. It doesn't matter if I'm white, pink, black, whatever. One thing that humans are good at is bringing other humans down. And I think the first thing that everybody needs to realise, it doesn't matter what colour you are, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, we're all humans at the end of the day.
You look at the animal kingdom, they all do that. You
Yeah.
know, everyone
We're
wants to be
just-
top lion, top dog, and once they show a little bit of weakness, or you're up here, I want to be up there too, or we're going to fight you to the death.
But see, that's the traditional way, right? That's competition. That's climbing the ladder. That's hierarchy, right? You need someone above you to set your own goal, right?
But we do it the right way. You don't
Yeah.
do this and this. But you have people who just want to go from here straight to there, and they'll do
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly.
And
They're tearing that whole system down.
Yeah.
Humans, it doesn't matter, creed, race, whatever. We are, if humans are good at anything, it's bringing each other, it's that whole, it's tall poppy syndrome. You know what? If you're good at your job and it doesn't matter what it is, somebody somewhere is going to be offended by what you do. They don't take into account what you've done to get there. Like, nobody does. Nobody gives a shit how many hours that you worked. They don't care. It doesn't matter if, I could be African and, they're doing it because they're the minority. She's a female. She's doing it because she's probably sucking somebody's cock. I'm just being realistic
And that's
here.
the thing, because if you're gonna put in the hours, right? If you're gonna put in extra hours to get to where you want to be, and someone below you doesn't see that, but thinks that they can get there,
They will make up some shit, bro.
because that's the way I think society is right now.
100%.
And no
Look,
one created that.
It's
Unfortunately,
just, I just believe that it's natural.
That's just
to be
the
quite
way,
honest.
just the way it is, and it's either, like you said, resilience. Resilience will get you through it because you know your worth, you know what you've done, and if those who don't believe in their worth, they'll make a big fuss and blame it on something. It's because I'm this. It's because I didn't do this, or I did do this. But at the end of the day, no, if you've got resilience and believe in who you are and what you can produce, then shouldn't be a problem.
So is there more of them now that think like this? That's why that
I think
sort
that
of
when it's not that
employers are
there's
going that way now.
I don't think
'Cause they
that
can't
there's
get the
more of
staff.
them. I think it's because we are normalizing it. If you normalize shit and you make it sound like that it's okay, then it's okay.
I
You're
might be going
normalising
left field, but I just don't care. Whoever can make my job easier, go for it. Do the hard yards. If you want to put in the hard yards and go over and beyond, I'm not saying that I'm just doing my, just just here. I'm still working hard, but I'm not going to, if you want to go over and above and make my job easier and put all that extra hard work in.
I think we're seeing less of those type of people now, because like we were saying, we've been talking
Everyone
about.
wants envy and wants to be, I don't know.
Everyone wants to fast track.
Yeah, but who's talking about you when you're up here?
I just think that we just need to normalise it, to be quite honest. Like, how did you get there? What was your journey? We look at high schools right now and they're like, they bring in like Olympians and they bring, no, bro.
The normal person.
Bring on someone that was sitting on fucking the back of the bus at 135 and normalise that shit. Normalise that. Normalise the motherfucker that can fucking pay their mortgage every month. Start normalising that stuff. Don't normalise the influencer. Don't start normalising the fucking rapper. Normalise the people that go through life.
Star,
don't normalise that. Normalise the person that's like, yo, this is what I did and this is what I do.
They worked hard to where they want to go to, but then they stopped. And they're no longer working hard because everyone else is working hard for them and giving them the credit. So, yeah, people who are still putting in the 9 to 5 every day, day in, day out, go to schools and talk about that. Like, okay, how can I be a successful business owner? Don't talk to the business owner who's on the, Forbes list or whatever like that. Bring it back a bit. Because they're no longer working hard. Okay, they started out somewhere. Everyone's got to start out somewhere. They may tell their story, but then end it at their story of how they got there and bring on the people that are working every day for this person to continue to be successful.
I do believe that there's a massive problem in our education system, to be quite honest.
Our teachers aren't getting paid enough.
No. I don't believe that. I believe that our education system is archaic. It does not suit the purposes for what the generation is right now, and that's what I believe. I believe that we put our kids into this box, and we say this is what the box looks like, and then the biggest problem is that we set them up to fail because if they fall outside the box, we can't pick them up. Sorry, mate, you didn't make your credits. You didn't get the English. You didn't get the math. You didn't do this. Teach our kids skills.
Yeah, because education's still the same, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't
From the time that
science,
we were there, from our parents
English,
were there,
maths, then you're not going to make it on this world.
You know what? You're nothing. And then we teach our kids from a very young age, you're nothing. But that same kid, they can jump on an Xbox and they can like blow shit up, bro. And it's like, okay, I can see that. We need to bring this kid into tech. This kid that's out there and they're building sandcastles. Mate, that's amazing. We need to bring this kid here. But no, what we do is we have this structure that's actually from like the 1930s. And we're going, yo, you need to be in this box. It hasn't changed. It's like, yo, the world's changed. The world's changed and we've got to change, but our education system hasn't changed.
Technology is changing by the second. If you think about going to school, like 5-year-old to when you see him for?
13.
13? Is it 13?
Yeah, 13 for 7.
And how old are the kids then?
About 17, 18.
Can I ask you something?
5 to 18.
Did you go to school in Sa?
No.
So we went to school in the islands, and it is fucking different.
Yeah.
I learnt life skills in
How to do umus, how to
to-
fucking weave shit, and
stuff that was
you get taught life skills.
that you needed for that.
For
You know,
where you are, it's
yeah.
like this is how you make this, and this is how you do that,
how you
and
get-
this is how you do this, and then you come to New Zealand. It's like, no, you need to know this.
What do you mean you're not in the top bracket
But-
for English? Oh.
Yeah, but
I'm
we
speaking
can't.
English sometimes.
We can't teach kids about debt and what bad debt looks like against good debt.
Yeah.
We don't teach our children how to survive because we've created this box and this is what it looks like. Because anybody in this box, we're going to progress them through life, and anybody that falls outside, unfortunately, you fall outside. But you know what? Here I am. I believe that firefighters should get paid more than us, ambulance drivers should be the highest paid people in society. Rubbish collectors, anyone that does that
mate.
kind of work,
Cleaners, rubbish collectors.
yeah, they
My
should
hat.
be
Oh, yeah.
Why are they on minimum wage, bro? Like, no, that's a job that nobody
No,
wants to do. If
dude.
it's a job that nobody wants to do, then guess what? You get paid here.
Yep. That's I
Weird.
tip my hat off to them, because it's not that I'm vain or anything. It's because I would never do that. I don't know why. Is it because society looks down upon those people?
I think.
Well, that's what happened to the down at Hastings, the picking strawberries or
Yeah.
the picking stuff.
Yeah.
because
100. You don't want to do it.
No
This-
Kiwis don't want to do it. That's why you get paid a lot of money, especially during the lockdown period. Like, they're struggling to find
Any
find
job
workers.
that nobody really, I could never do that, automatically should be paid 1.5 higher than anybody else that doesn't want to do that job.
I think in that example they are, but still no one's going to do that job.
The problem is that we have a pyramid site. That's it. That's our society, right?
Mm.
I still don't understand how CEOs make more money than people that make money for their company.
I think it happens all the time. Like the reason why Islanders came to New Zealand in the first place because the Kiwis don't want to do those jobs back in the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah, but now the Islanders don't want to do the fuck you do your own jobs, cunt.
When in Australia, when none of those Aussies want to do work in the mines, so there was a big influx of Kiwis going over there to work their jobs back in the early 2000s and that. So anywhere where the local people don't want to work, it opens up for overseas people to come and work those jobs.
Yeah, but they should be paid more. And that's it. Like, I think that Kiwi should be like, you know what? If you want to go pick kiwi fruit, it's $45 an hour. If you don't and you want to go and work at Cotton On, it's $25 an hour.
See, to me, $25 an hour, is that minimum wage now?
Yeah.
No, well,
like
minimum wage is actually like $21 an hour.
21, yeah.
See, that's a lot to me.
I'll
To
tell
us.
you what, like, so at Dollar Dealers, we offer people like $21.50. It was 50 cents above. Actually, it's 21. Minimum wage is $21.20.
Yeah, see, when my first job, I was minimum wage back then, because I was still at school. I was working at a bakery. I think I was $7.50 an hour.
When I worked for Sky City,
Yeah,
I got paid $10.10.
the first.
My
First
first
time.
job
Yeah,
at Sky City was $10.10
yeah.
per hour. And you know what? Back in those days, training on your own time. Now you train, you get paid for it. People fight for workers' rights and stuff like that, but I think that we kind of get to a point where you just become expectant.
These days, it's inflation they're talking about. Inflation's gone up. The war in Ukraine, the petrol prices has gone up. Everything else has gone up.
But is it we talk about petrol prices. Like I just fuck. We bought that oil 6 months ago. Shouldn't we get 6 months ago's prices? It's sitting in barrels, mate. These big fucking. Don't you think that? It's that's the same oil, bro.
I think the elite gets it first.
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, I look at the wharf and I'm looking at these big things and
The elite.
You bought that 6 months ago.
You
that's
don't
6
live in
months.
Central. Come on.
That's 6 months ago's prices. Look, at the end of the day, everything's going up. Wages really aren't increasing. Like I was saying to Kata, today we opened our rates and they boosted my house price, bro, to the point where I've got to pay more fucking fees. You're like, and then I open it up and I'm reading through and I'm like, hey, 2,500 to use libraries, footpaths, and I don't fucking use any of that shit.
Yeah.
What? Can I write a letter? Can I write a letter saying?
So they actually break it down.
Yeah, so 2,500 of my rates,
Yeah.
libraries, footpaths, and some
Museum.
other museum and other shit. I don't go to any of them. Can I have my fucking 2,500?
I don't walk, okay?
Yeah.
I don't need no footpaths.
Yeah.
I'm in
No.
my car.
I don't actually, because I fucking get in my car, I fucking drive to work, and I get out. So why are you making me pay this? I don't get it.
Maybe maybe start going to the library. But I know what you're saying, because where I work, it's like in town, but so like in the back streets. And man, I work in the back streets in town, but it's like a place where you don't get much foot traffic, right? Because it's at the back sort of thing. But they've redone the whole road
Yes.
on the street.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why. Because no one walks here anyway. It's not even
trying to make the town look pretty.
Yeah, but why would you? I understand there's thousands of dollars doing new curbs, new asphalt, or doing the roads up.
If you look on...
No one walks. No one walks around there.
No. Kiwi, we're not big walkers or cyclists. You know, we love the outdoors, but we just wanted to get to A to B the fastest way possible. We don't want to have to get on a bike to walk this one and then go here and go there. I don't know why they're changing.
I'm going to ask you this.
But my thoughts were like, okay,
why do your street?
But
why fucking do your street?
Why prioritize this shitty ass street? No one walks around here.
Yeah. Why do your street?
Like I'm sure there's other streets that need
Maybe
this.
they saw you and think, you know what? Cameron comes to this job. We're going to make his street look pretty.
I'm going to ask you this, and this could be quite controversial. Global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah. To you, what is it?
I think if we're talking about trying to slow down global warming,
what is it in the first place before you can slow it down?
I think the Earth is heating up, right? Which makes the ice in the North Pole and the South Pole melt, and the water will rise. You know, that sort of thing. That's what I think global warming is, and that's what they're trying to slow down or stop. Because I think there's a few islands in the Pacific that are
they're going to be fucked.
Going to be fucked, right? They're going to be underwater soon. Yeah. To answer your question, I'm
going to tell you
that's what I
this.
think about. That's what
Hey,
I
For
think.
me,
polar bear.
like, here's the Earth goes through cycles. We're going through another cycle. If you think that this is the first cycle that Earth's ever gone through, you're crazy.
Yeah, because we had the
Why?
Ice Age before.
Not only one, there's been multiple ice ages. It is the Earth is shifting off its axis, and like that's it. Like we're just going through a cycle. Am I saying that humans have contributed to it or they haven't? I can't answer that. But I'm just telling you that it's like a normal progression. That's what I believe. I believe that the Earth is going to do whatever it's going to do. Do I think humans at this point in time have just been assholes? 100%. We're dickheads. We just are like consumerism. 100%. We're just like a bunch of dickheads.
Yeah. And for the people to go for try to stop global warming or trying to slow it down,
Too late.
It's
going to happen.
They look at consumerism as the fault.
Too late. It's going to happen. I just believe that it's Earth's natural progression. Yeah. It's gonna do what it is.
Probably, Earth is cool, eh? Earth is just weaning out the weak, the strong.
I just think that Earth is going through its natural progression. It's going to do whatever it is that it's going to do, and we're just going to be part of it, or we're not. Like it's probably not us, but it's probably going to be our grandchildren, our great grandchildren. But it's going to go through the cycle that it's going to go through. Too late. Like you can fucking do as many paper straws as you want to do.
Well, like. Okay, what we're talking about the reasons why it's a waste of time trying to stop global warming, right?
100.
That's one reason. One reason why the Earth's gonna do its normal thing. It's gonna happen anyway, right? The other thing is that for us to have any impact on global warming is for the whole world to do something at the same time, but you can't.
They never.
It's not. It won't never happen because China won't change. These big continents won't change. China won't change. Russia won't change.
Are just selfish people.
Do you look at it and you like 100%? I'm not like a religious person. 100%. I can tell you right now, right? So I'm not. We got a plague, right? And we're going through that right now.
Yeah.
And then we look on and we look at Fujisawa, right, whatever it is, in the middle Middle East is like fucking facing these floods. And then like you start thinking, oh, wait a minute, this starting to look like 40 days and 40 nights shit. And then when you look at it, you look at all the places that are facing floods right now. Like you can be non-religious as possible. And then you just start looking at it like, wait a minute, like God's going to fuck us. We've got the plague, the floods are coming, places that shouldn't be flooding are flooding. We're currently looking at places in America that are like fucking facing golf ball size fucking hailstorms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faint,
But that's
faint,
ages
but it was
ago.
still snow,
Right.
yeah.
Like that's
Oh,
ages.
okay.
I'm talking like in like
Couple years
the
ago.
last 30 days. I'm talking like the last 30 days, and then you like just kind of laugh it off. So you can be, you're just like, you know what? Do I believe in God? Probably not. I'm not the most religious person, but I do believe that the earth is screaming out and they're fucking doing a cleanse, mate. Like, there's too many of you parasites on this. We got to get rid of some of you people.
Well, I know one thing I read, right, was, you know what a supernova is, right?
Yeah,
It's when
100.
when a star blows up or a sun blows up. Sooner or later, our sun will blow up, right? And then that's us gone. I think they said it will be hundreds of billions of years from now.
If the world
Right.
the way it is right now, mate, supernova.
Yeah, supernova. If we can, if humans survive until that time, then we're gonna find a way to get off this planet and go to a new planet, right? But then there's another big deal when apparently there's another galaxy that's gonna collide with our galaxy and destroy everything. So that's another problem. If we get to
Bizarre, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you'll have multiple people in this
I'm just
world.
worrying about what's happening in Ronald.
100. and that it's that there, and it's like, what's helping me to LBGPK? And it's like, oh, fuck.
But that's right. Like you can't stop the natural things, right?
No.
Things that will happen anyway. So why are we? Because the bottom line, what we're talking about, all these layers, different layers in society that we have to deal with, that we probably don't have to deal with, or we can understand that why we have to deal with this shit. Why can't we just love ourselves, love our families, and that's it? And everyone will be better for it, you know.
But we can. And you know what? That's the biggest thing. It's like, the reality is that everybody's group is this big, right? And you're saying the stuff that you're saying. And if you love yourselves and you love your family and you love what it is, it's this big, right?
Yeah, but that's a good
people-
starting point. That's a good starting
No.
point.
But people want it to be this big, and they want other people to understand. Now, fuck that shit. The
But I
reality
betcha-
for us is that, like, the people that you interact with are only 3 people away. That's the reality.
But I
And
betcha-
people want it to be 10 people. You know what? No.
But I bet you a lot of those people, a lot of those activists, aren't good health-wise, aren't good with their own families. And they choose to try to get everyone else good instead of looking back at their own.
You know what? For me, it's this. It's that whole. Your group is here, right? Your group of friends is here. Your group of friends, we're all here. But everybody's trying to go out here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Just look after you and yours,
Yep.
and you and yours carries on, and you and yours carries on. You know, the Brian Tamakis of the world, like, fuck those clowns. Like I just read it all the time, and I hear about, and I was like, why is this guy on my feed? Why are people giving this guy airtime? Like, the people that I know, like, in my friend group, in my fucking circle, nobody interacts with this guy, but this guy is now in my life.
If we're talking about leaders here, okay, I'm going to spin it around. Sam Cane, for All Blacks captain.
Look, I'm just saying, you can't
He's a
have...
cheese player, guys. Just want to put it out there.
You know, I'm sort of disturbed that you brought up Sam Cane when Tony brought up Tamaki.
I am just like...
I'm just saying, if you haven't played a full year of rugby,
Yep.
then you shouldn't play. That's it. Like, if you haven't played a season, like, get the fuck out of here, cunt. Like, just go look after your neck and we're golden. I don't know.
Those Chiefs guys, Kane and Foster, getting all the
I'm
shit
going to
lately.
ask everyone here one question.
But then who didn't?
If
you
your
know?
team isn't playing in the finals, are you watching it? Are you watching it?
I am.
So Blues aren't in the finals, Chiefs are in the
Oh,
finals.
I
Are
ain't
you
wa- I-
watching
I ain't
Super?
watching it. I ain't watching it.
You're not.
No. Like, why?
And
we
there's a difference
fucking,
between Chiefs
we
and Blues
fucking hung the
supporters.
boots, bro.
You
And
know,
I'm like, I don't give
you
a fuck. We're
guys
out.
will hate on anybody and everyone. Chiefs, we go with the flow. If we're not playing, we're not playing in the final.
I am a huge Warriors supporter. I do not follow league once the Warriors aren't playing anymore.
Right.
Like, I just don't. It's
Right.
like,
So you've been watching
and
any
then-
finals since...
no, everybody's like, did you watch the quarters?
10 years.
And I'm like,
She
why?
went to the what was it? Welcome back game,
100. I'm there. I'm there, boy.
and they won.
Yeah, you're missing on some good
100.
quality games. Though in our finals last 10 years have been quality.
No,
You mean to tell me you're just not going to watch it?
I just don't watch them.
Oh, okay.
When our boots are hung up on the clothesline because we're drying them out for next season, I'm not watching. And this is the biggest problem that I have. We have these motherfuckers that follow teams. And they're like, did you watch the finals? And I'm like, your team wasn't playing. Yeah, but did you watch them?
Because
fuck are you watching
see
them?
it from the beginning to the end. You see it from the beginning to the end. We
We
may
have
not be
chief
in the
supporters here who have never lived in the Waikato their entire lives, but they just decided, we're going to support this team.
It's funny that because, you know, that was like during the 10 plus years Blues never won anything. You know?
Oh, it wasn't because of that.
But I'll tell you what.
Jumped
It
the
never
wagon,
matter.
eh? Jumped
I'm
jumped
never
on the
a
bandwagon, eh?
bandwagon thing because, you know, I can
jumped
be...
off the Blues wagon,
I've
eh?
never been,
Was it?
and it's what cracks me up about bandwagon people because they're like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon now. All of a sudden, you want to be a Warriors supporter." I'm like, bro, Warriors only came in the last how many years?
I'm going to tell
Where
you
were you at
this.
the beginning?
Yeah,
Like she's
exactly.
already,
Yeah.
she's already confused because she's confusing Blues with the fucking Warriors. But here's where we're at. Like
they're
I
kind of
was
the
there,
same,
bro,
you know,
where
they're part of
her
the
dad,
cause.
like back in 1994, was painting their faces and going to Blues games.
Auckland
Like, I was
A's.
fucking there. No, they were Blues in 1994.
Who's your support for the Warriors then? In the Winfield Cup days?
Well, you know what? Before the Warriors were there, I actually was a huge Bulldogs fan, and it's because of this Jared McCracken. He
Jared
was
McCracken,
just
yeah.
like a fucking
My one was
legend, man.
Penrith.
Oh,
Back in
What?
'91 when they won the, only because I felt sorry for him because he lost his brother before the final. So I heard that, but then
and now she doesn't even support Penrith. I'm a Bird
Nah.
Gang fan.
no, because I crossed over because a Kiwi went over there, and then I was like, hey.
I'll tell you what. The
A few
Kiwi-
Kiwis went over there. Matthew
the-
Ridge,
the
Craig
Kiwi-
Innes.
yeah,
When
the-
Ridgie went over to Manly, that was it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like Ridgie went over to Manly before the brother lost to the brother where you like did all this stuff, and actually Ridgie went to
Yeah.
Warriors before the person that you're talking about.
No,
Fucking
Warriors
happened.
wasn't around then.
Ridgie went to the Warriors, and the person that you're talking about when he lost his brother, it's like Ridgie was playing in the Warriors.
Ah, not back in '91. The Warriors weren't even around then. Warriors didn't come around to what, like '95? You think '94?
Warriors.
I can't
were in
remember.
95.
But I remember I did swap over to the Warriors when they were Auckland Warriors. I changed back to Manly when they became New Zealand Warriors because I didn't believe...
Because why?
Because
Because why?
they took away my city from their name.
How about Debbie?
What a fucktard. Like,
Man, Auckland Blues,
shit.
man. Auckland Blues, Auckland Warriors. This is my town,
We're
man.
going back to the Blues.
These are my teams. This is my town.
Your Blues is made up of Chief players, Wellington players, Crusaders players.
It is
Count-
so funny because like half the Chief players come from Auckland, even though like here's the worst thing about it. Like this is the thing that fucks me off the most is that this
Please. What?
counties is Chiefs. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It is. It's on the border.
You know what? You ask someone like John Lumu who's like,
Did you guys
"Jonah,
meet John Lumu?
do you live in the Waikato or do you live in Auckland?" He's like, fucking no live in no Waikato,
Yeah, that-
fucking
yeah,
sheep
that-
shaker shit.
Yeah, they should look back at those boundaries because last time I heard Super City incorporated Pukekohe.
Mate, we play different rubbish rates. There ain't no Super City, okay? South Auckland don't even have tags, so don't even get with that Super City.
Like ridiculous, eh?
All you need to
Person
know
that's never
is-
ever left Auckland is like, I'm a cheese supporter.
But they did good when
Didn't
Mills
happen
went there.
overnight, but it did happen.
You know when Mills went there, they made the final and they won it that 1 year.
1 year.
One time.
Oh, we won it like, 2011, 2012. Hello.
Oh, twice.
Back to
Oh,
back.
yeah, I forgot.
Back to back.
You know what? Like some people, they'll be like listening, will be like, I wasn't even born then.
Hello, Blues, this whole season. Fuck, they were mean. Mean as. Come to the final. What happened?
Yeah, what happened, Tony?
You don't put
Man.
on your Blues players. You don't put on your Auckland players. You put
If
on
I'm
all
gonna,
your...
if I'm gonna be 100% honest, like what happened in that final, Buddenberg ate ass. To be quite honest, and it's the same thing that's happened with the All Blacks. Like I'll tell you about this. The Irish game is this: you don't put Crusaders wingers out and then put Bodenbarrack in 10. No way. It's not for the amount of time. The amount of time, like it was like 2 weeks lead up to that game, and you're like, why? You've got Moanga, you put Sevu on one wing, you put Will on the other wing. Why would you put Bowden in 10? No, you put fucking Moanga there, mate, because they've been playing the whole year.
So you reckon it was a chemistry thing then?
100%.
But
man.
then...
No, you don't talk about how these guys should be professionals and they should be da-da-da. It's like, the All Blacks, before they played Ireland, got like a fucking 3-week window. But the people that they picked in that team, you're like, that's not gonna gel. When you have that back line, you have to have people that are gonna know and read, and like Moanga should have played 10 that whole way through.
So because I didn't think that the All Blacks had a chance, or whoever they put on there. I think it was all about their gameplay. Because if you looked at Ireland, how they beat the All Blacks, man, they were just strong everywhere. Like the defense was solid. They had their rush defense, with the All Blacks can't even beat that rush defense. They don't even know how to.
Yeah, the nation. We were watching it like France and all that. They are so fast in the malls, in the rucks and everything. Just fast, get the ball out, bang, bang, bang. All Blacks are still like trying to, do we box kick?
It's not that.
Or
We're
do
just
we-
as fast as all of them. The problem is that the Northern Hemisphere rugby, they do the forwards rugby. Like
Yeah.
you look at their front packs and all of this kind of stuff. They compete at malls and all that kind of stuff. But like the Southern Hemisphere has kind of moved away from that kind of rugby. Which,
You see it in their physiques.
Yeah.
You look at the Northern Hemisphere props, right?
They're like
They're
beast mode,
short,
right?
stocky. They're muscly.
100. That's what we used to look back in the 90s, right?
But you look at the Blues props, right? They're leaner, skinny. You talk about Alex Hodgman and Offa. Those guys are not traditional prop looking.
We're looking at players
yeah.
that have that, like, when they come from the south, they're like this.
Yeah.
They got no neck. But you know what I'm talking about, right? And I just think that we don't adjust. We just think, hey, our back line's going to do it. And here's the thing that you'll see when you watch. We don't play forward rugby anymore. But the problem is that our forwards don't want to pass the ball out to the backs. When Aaron Smith was on there, like you watch him when he was passing, he would skip certain players. And you're like, what the fuck? What are you doing, cunt? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yo, what are you doing? Pass it to the back line. But in that Irish game, we were trying to play forward rugby, but we don't really have forwards, bro. Our forwards are conditioned different. Our forwards could play out on the wing and run. Sorry. They actually could. They could, like, pass that ball out and they can, like, run any ring because we're faster. But they try to play forward rugby against a team that's, like, built like fucking brick shithouses.
Well, we still play that pod game, and that's a funny thing because when you see a pod setting up to make the
Yeah.
next run,
Yeah.
man, you can't tell me the other team knows what they're doing.
How come we can read it? Hey, we're like, oh, they're going to do this and this and this. So they've been watching your game plan for how many games have you played.
I think the other thing too is that like.
It
That's
does my
Foster.
head in.
That's-
Do you like
that's
read
a
it?
Chiefs
Like,
coach.
do you like
Chiefs
look
coach
at
like
it
that.
and like you're like watching and like, why are they calling that play off the ball?
Remember when Graham Henry lost the World Cup? Everyone was on his back because he was going to be the next coach to bring them into the next World Cup.
Yeah.
And then he won it. And then he was, oh,
He
you're
was
a god.
But Sam Cane is shit, and he shouldn't be because he hasn't proved himself as a captain. He hasn't actually proved himself as a
Tell me
fucking
what
rugby
you really
player.
feel.
Like honestly, like he should not. Like you haven't. Even, fuck, you played 4 games for the Chief cunt. Like what the fuck have you done for New Zealand rugby? I think we're probably
I would
not.
love
gonna-
if Whitelock got captain. You know, they
No.
interviewed him and he said,
No,
I would love to have been.
no, you've got to be an Here's the thing, like
Did you
you've
want
got
a
someone
blue
like
spot?
Richie. No, you've got someone like Richie, right? And
Sam Whitelock would have been right up
they
there.
don't respect him. He's just a fucking another nobody forward, bro. Like you think backs are gonna look at Sam Whitelock and be like,
He's
oh
been
my
there
God.
with
No.
McCaw. He's been up
I don't
there.
even think that Sam Whitelock should be fucking there. He's an old cunt. Bring in the new players. We have an opportunity to bring in. No, we have an opportunity to bring in all these young fellas. Like, why isn't Robinson there?
I thought they had the opportunity to bring in Lachlan Brasher, but he's gone.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
He's gone. He was the man.
He was the man.
Yeah.
Every breakdown, he was over the ball, you know? And they let him go. And I was like,
Yeah.
first mistake.
You know what? We're like a year and a half
But it
out
wasn't
from World
Foster's
Cup,
mistake.
and it's like this. I hope that the All Blacks are like tricking us and
But
like
they
we're
need
just
to
trying
lose,
to make
right?
no.
Because when, you know, you can't win all the time. And when they do lose, oh, you're the useless coach, useless captain, useless players, blah, blah. Well, okay. Now what? Okay, they regroup. Now the South Africa tour's on now,
South African tours this weekend.
this weekend.
But I just want to touch on what you guys think of the fucking backlash the All Blacks got that week they lost to Ireland. That whole week, my news feed was just fucking
I just thought
man. Everyone was
I was
angry,
like,
man. Everyone
way
was
to go,
angry.
Ireland.
Ireland
Way to go,
were-
Ireland. You played hard out.
outplayed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Chief supporter, we, you know, with the underdog,
Yeah,
we
I just
support them.
as a
and we were
blue
like-
supporter, I just was like, you know what? Well done, Ireland.
Yeah.
You fucking
Well
outplayed
done.
us. You outsmarted us.
Everything.
There was a
You
couple
played
of
to the
things.
ref.
But what you guys think about the backlash? The
It sucked.
the public, man. They were like, oh, and
It's
Foster.
always going to be like that.
And the majority of them were Blues
Always.
supporters. I know it. I know it was Blues supporters because when Blues lose, you guys hate on them. All Blacks is, honestly, all you Blues, you suck.
It would never
because
be
you're a
like.
Chief.
I'll tell
you're
you
a-
what. It will never be Chiefs supporters because they don't know what winning feels like. So fuck them.
Not in the last year.
I'll tell you what. New Zealanders don't like to lose, but sometimes you have to lose to get perspective.
To get
right?
better. I mean,
Good
look at we lost the World Cup, right? And then we came back. We almost lost, but we won. And then we came back in 2015 and we just blitzed it. We just came back stronger and stronger. So we have to lose for them to realise you're not invincible. You can get beaten. You need to adapt your game. You can't just play the same thing, you know, forwards go in, you know, breakdowns and stuff like that. You're not going to win the line-outs, even though you've got taller guys and everything like that. You need to play the way the world plays, not the
I
Southern
think
Hemisphere
differently.
plays.
I think this. The volume of New Zealanders that play rugby, they pay fees, and those fees go up. Do you know what I mean? You pay juniors, and then you play this. All the fees that you play in rugby, a portion of that goes to the All Blacks. Fucking do your job, cunt. You know what I mean? And like somebody like Fozzie that believes that some of these players should be in that team. No, if they haven't shown that they shouldn't be there, then they shouldn't be there. And And Sam Cane is one of them. Like, this cunt did not play. He should not be the captain.
I agree. He shouldn't be All Black captain.
He should not
Yeah.
even be in the team. There are
Because Captain automatically says
But
you're going to
then
be there the whole
you
game,
don't
all
want-
80 minutes.
yeah.
But All Blacks don't just
No.
come down to playing. They need the leaders to be in there to tell you
And
how
I
it's going to
think that
be.
people
this
like
is how the game's going to play.
Retallick.
Oh,
and
Retallick's my
fucking-
man.
And,
Oh,
and Whitelock,
my
they're
favourite
old,
player.
bro. They got to go.
Retallick's old.
And
He's
you know
old.
Nah.
what? Whitelock, Retallick,
He's lost a step.
Kang, and
No.
all of them, they should have
No
been
way.
gone last year,
Now
bro.
that's
They
when
should have
I-
been gone. Like, get the fuck out of here. And you start developing
Oh,
your
you want to
players.
start a fight now?
You've got to develop them. If you keep on... the biggest problem with
Retallick.
the All Blacks at the moment is that we're
Don't listen
holding
to
on
them, Retallick. If you're
to
listening
all
today,
of
don't
these
listen to them.
all these old players who we think are fucking legends. You know what? Go be legends. But right now we've got to develop. Because if we don't develop, and that's the worst part is that like we can't develop because we've like closed all these spots for these new. Now people talk about fucking RTS playing. Do I believe that RTS? 100%. You know why? This motherfucker.
He was a rugby player before he was a league player.
100%. He has played more fucking games of rugby than probably some of them. He's probably more successful in rugby games than some of them that are there right now. Do I believe that he should be there? 100%. Retallick, you're gone.
Retallick,
old.
I
Whitelock,
love you.
You're fucking
Listen
gone.
tonight. Don't listen to her.
Barrett, Scott Barrett, get the fuck out of here. You're just a dirty cunt. Get out. Get. Bring all the young ones in. Like, we should have been like 2 years ago, we should have been developing them, bringing them through. Let me ask you this. Why isn't Robinson in the All Blacks?
Because he's got red hair.
No, but why isn't he there? Like, you've got somebody that's hungry, that works hard all the time.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
No, but
Cameron,
it's this, eh?
edit that out.
Why? Because he's short. He's a little bit shorter, but he actually gets more intercepts than some people. So you're telling me that someone like Tuipulotu can go fuck off to Japan for some time,
That's
And-
my worst player. Sorry.
and then you've got someone like
Tuipulotu.
fucking Robinson, right? That's
Right there,
been
right.
hungry. I'm telling you, I am ready. And then Tuipulotu plays one game for fucking ponies, comes back. Hey, you're in the All Black. Oh, like fuck, come on.
But we're not the
Come
selectors.
on.
You got the likes of Michael Jones. You got all those guys.
Well, maybe all those guys should fuck off too.
Well, they got new selector now. It's Schmidt now, eh?
Smith's
'Cause
great.
Grant Fox is gone.
Yeah.
But maybe they should fuck off too. Like, honestly, like, come on. How can you tell me Tuipulotu goes to Japan, fucks off, he plays one game for ponies and he can, like, come on. And the other part of it is this, for me. The Barrett boys, like Geordie, like everyone's talking this weekend, oh, Geordie should play 15. Like, no, Geordie should be on the sideline. Should be on the sideline, cunt.
I think he's in there for his kicking.
Yeah, then bring him on for kicking. Like, fuck
Well,
off.
kick for goals.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
can
know.
he can
I
hit
still-
it from far away.
No
Oh,
way.
I think that Mwanga
Nah.
could probably.
Yeah.
I think Mwanga could beat
Mwanga
it.
is, yeah,
He could beat it.
100%.
He's a little bit small though.
He's small,
I still believe that
but he holds his
Mwanga.
ground.
If you had Geordie and Mwanga on the 50 line mark, Mwanga would still kick the same kicks.
Did you guys agree with the public when they wanted Foster to go and get
Yes.
and get and,
Yes.
and get Razor on
Yes.
No,
and get Razor on?
Yes. I don't know
keep
if I,
Razor there, and
It's not for Razor, but I'm telling you now,
Nah.
if you're gonna have a fucking coach that picks somebody that played fucking 4 games for the Chiefs and says he's our guy, then he's gotta go, mate. If you've got a guy who picks the fucking lock like Retallick,
Oh,
who fucking spent half
did
a
he do?
year out and go, he's our guy. No, you gotta fucking go. You gotta hard on for the
No.
fucking Chiefs, bro. Get the fuck off the field.
Graham Henry
We
got
need
the same
somebody that's like, who's the best players. That's it. We don't need anyone that's got a hard on for fucking players that they've fucking brought up through the ranks. And you know what? There's so much shit out there right now where Fozzie has like he fucking coached Sam Cane through fucking high school. No, like go and have your heart on someone else, mate. Take Retallick with you. Retallick's old, Whitelock's old. Get all the young players in.
Retallick, if you're listening tonight, I love you. Don't listen to this girl.
Don't listen to me, but think about all the passes that you dropped, cunt. Like honestly.
I was thinking about like how we lost to Ireland, right? And this is probably when I thought about why the New Zealand public comes back to the All Blacks every time. Because this is the first time we actually had a losing streak. Oh, we did have one before.
It was the worst.
This is the worst losing streak in between World Cups. Because we'll lose a World Cup, we'll get angry, but we'll get over it. Because the following year, we'll dominate.
No, do get over it. When we lost the World Cup in 2007 to France, my husband went out there and chopped down
I'm telling you now, it's this.
But we'll get over it.
He's not
because
talking about that.
We dominate the years in between.
Because you expect them to get better.
I'm telling you now, pre-World Cup, we've gone to South Africa. If we don't win all of those games, we're fucking done. Like the New Zealand
test, right?
The New Zealand public are going to crucify this team, and that's the end of it. Like, if they don't go there and dominate them, because the worst part about it is North Hemisphere rugby are like, we're the best. What happened to South Africa went and played for them, bro. They went up there because they thought, oh, yo, we're too good for these cunts. Like, no. 100%, that's what they did. I think, to be quite honest, fuck South Africa. Like, honestly, fuck South Africa. Bring in Samoa. Let's go Tonga. Let's go Cook Islands. No, like, that's what I think. Like, you know what? South Africa were like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be part of you. Da-da-da. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck these guys. Come on, Sa. Let's go Tonga. Let's go Cook Islands. Let's go Niue. Let's fucking... I
like that idea.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck South Africa. And you know what, Samoa, you know all these players that have played for us and they're not, you can fucking have them all. But what New Zealand need to stop doing is playing those fucking players so that they don't fucking qualify. That is the most
look at
bullshit
the Commonwealth
shit.
Games. Look at Commonwealth Games, right?
No, what I'm talking about is
Put the mic down.
New Zealand's biggest problem is this. They don't want to share players. That's New Zealand's biggest problem. And when they see a threat and they think that this player's good, they go, we're naming them in the All Blacks.
But the market's changed now, right? The market's changed. South Africa doesn't want to be a part of us. They're fucked off.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about New Zealand rugby.
We've got the landscape now for Tonga and Samoa to be a part of, right?
No, but what New Zealand rugby do is this. I'm naming this person and they're playing for New Zealand rugby. Boom, 2 years. You're gone 2 years. You're off the market 2 years. I believe this. If you are not named for the New Zealand team, doesn't matter if you fucking like last week you were named for them, you get to play. You're open market. But we can't. We can't. And New Zealand are so fucking tricky. All of these Pacific players that are fucking good and kind of good, they name them in their fucking wider squad, which makes them illegible. They can't play for their Pacific nation.
Well, they did that to Sol Kula. Sol Kula got that one game. Now he can't play for Fiji for another 3 years.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know what? He's a fantastic number 8. Like, he's like, why didn't they take... And now they fucked him. Can't play for 2 years.
But then you got to look at these players, right? And say, okay, do you want to play for Fiji? Do you want to play for Samoa? Or do you want to play for the All Blacks?
Here we go. Do you want to play for the All Blacks where we're going to pay you 150K? Do you want to play?
They don't even care about the money.
No, you can come play for us, but here's the thing. You've got to make this wider squad, and this is the thing. If you make this squad, you're going to get 150K. Sorry, cuz, you didn't make it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're going to get paid for the All Blacks, but you're also going to get All Blacks in your CV. when you go to overseas.
No,
Overseas club.
they do get paid. That's the thing. Like, once you make that All Black squad, you get a certain amount of money. And that's the thing. Like, Cutters sitting there going, oh, do you want to get... Well, you do. Like, that number 8, right? If you make our team, you get 150k a year. He signs in. He plays against Ireland. He plays one game, right? You're part of the All Blacks. We're going to South Africa. Sorry, bro, you didn't make it. He can't go play for Fiji anymore. He can earn 45k.
But he's still getting paid the...
No, he's done. He's not part of the squad anymore. You're not getting paid this money.
But what does the contract say? One game. Contract says you're under contract.
If you make this team, you get 150k.
Just one payment, that's it.
No. So I'm going to play as hard as I can to get this 150k.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This is the part that people don't understand. I'm going to play as hard as I can because if I make this team, I get a minimum of 150k.
What's in the mic, see?
Yeah. So if I make this team, I get a minimum of 150k. A minimum. If I make this team.
So he's got 150k just like that.
So,
for that one game.
No. If you make this team.
But he did.
So he didn't. He made the wider training squad.
Right.
So you're on the wider training squad. If I make this squad here, I get 150k.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
So he didn't get paid nothing.
He gets a little bit from playing these games, but you're out now. Sorry, you don't make this team that's going because our wider training squad's now moved to here. And the people here, they get 150k. You get a little bit, but you didn't make this squad. But not only did you not make this squad, you can't go play for Fiji. New Zealand rugby do that all the time. They do it with Samoans, Cook Islanders, Tongans. They have a 60-man training squad, and they pull in all of these players, and that's the goal. The goal is here, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, the World Rugby has changed the rules. So now there's a stand-down period of 3 years.
Yeah, but...
So at least you got your 3 years.
We are 1 year out from a World Cup. Come on, man.
Has it been the next World Cup? At least. So if New Zealand gonna get him again...
You're a fucking man, right? You're a fucking male.
Yeah.
And you played rugby.
Yeah.
Right? And you're talking to me right now about, yeah, but they can go the next World Cup.
Yeah.
What do you fucking look like in the next World Cup, cunt? Like 4 years' time.
Yeah.
From now to 4 years' time, you are not the same person. You do not look the same. You are carrying fucking injuries because you're playing in all of these different things. No. What New Zealand and Australia do is they trap all these Pacific Island players into their fucking web where they can't play for Pacific Islands. And you know what? I was so happy when like Moana Pacifica came out and Fiji came out because I was like, yes, these guys actually get to play in these teams where it's like, yo, you get to, and you're not going to be trapped in the web. All of these guys are trapped in a web.
But isn't Moana Pacifica still trapped in the web in the case? Because All Blacks can pick them up if they wanted to.
You know what? And like if I had a choice of playing between Samoa and fucking All Blacks, knowing that in Samoa I'll get 25k if the government fucking releases it, or I can get 150k playing for who you playing for? You 100% you're playing for the All Blacks. But if the All Blacks turn around and say, hey, you can play for us, but you're the wider training squad, and we've got a wider training squad of 70, but we're only taking 30, of course you're going to take that risk. But once they announce that wider training squad and you're announced as an All Black, you're done for 2 years. Next year's World Cup, right? What? You don't get the final. You don't get the money. You don't get nothing.
So it works out, it works out if you're young. It's young.
Only if you're young.
It's a young man's game now. Professional rugby is a young man's game now.
Only if you're young. But like, I still believe all of these big countries, they pull in all the Pacific Islanders. Different from a league, right? Like, you see what's happening in the league at the moment. All these guys turn around. No, I'm Brian Tor. I'm playing for Samoa. But how can you play for like da 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 da? Well, I am, but I'm playing for Sa. You begrudging him?
The thing is with the Rugby World Cup, right? What you want to see as a spectator, right? As a rugby fan, what you want to see the best players playing in that competition.
I believe this.
And the way things are now, you don't.
If you are in New Zealand and you can play for New Zealand or Samoa and you don't make New Zealand, that you should be able to play for Samoa. You shouldn't have to wait for 2 years. Because you know what? In 2 years' time, you could be fucking whatever.
The downside of that, you're taking over someone that's been training, or, trying to work hard to be there. Like maybe one of the local players, you got to give that spot up. Then if someone, that's been around the world.
If you had the choice of Sonny Bill Williams playing number 12 for Samoa, because he didn't make New Zealand, or some village player, who you taking?
Yeah, Sonny Bill.
100. That's the thing. What the best player should get the position.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think that World Rugby, they tie up local players. New Zealand have a they've got a bread basket, right? Where they kind of corner that market. Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Cook Islands, and New Zealand itself. And they get to pick the best of the best. And then they also take the second of the best. And then they also take the third of the best. And then they go, hey, it's World Cup. Sorry, guys, we label you as New Zealand players. You can't play for anyone else.
I think it's all changing now. It's all changing. It changed as soon as South Africa left Super Rugby. It changed when Australia's like not the team they were. The Wallabies aren't the team they used to be. And New Zealand All Blacks just lost to Ireland. And that's all because what I think is because of the competition is lacking down south.
I'm just saying that 2 years is too long.
So
if they're not part of your team, then they should be able to play. But
the reason why I say that is because New Zealand has got other problems now. Their problem is not trying to get Islander players in the squads and stuff like that. I think their priority now, what they should understand, is that the priority is to be on top of the world again. Because that's slowly coming away. Because of what's happening with the politics. Because of South Africa leaving. Because of the lack of competition.
We can do like world standings and everything like that for like days on end. You can do that forever. No one gives a fuck. It's whoever holds the World Cup. New Zealand can be world standing. We're number 1. South Africa hold the World Cup. So who is the champion of the world? New Zealand can be number 1 in the world in world standings for 3 years. But nobody cares about that. All they care about South Africa. They're the best country in the world because they've got the World Cup. True or not?
Well, I think Northern Hemisphere has a reputation for that.
The only reason why South Africa but who beat South Africa in the last World Cup? All Blacks did.
All I'm saying is like Northern Hemisphere has a reputation for not caring about the years in between the World Cups.
No.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to.
No.
Because they've got no expectation that you have to be the best.
Yeah.
But All Blacks do because you lose. Oh, you're the worst coach. You're the worst players. You're the worst this. Imagine their mental health and stuff like that. We talk about mental health. Imagine them. We've got nothing on these players that our expectations are because they're our expectations. But, mate, I would give Foster this tour and then the Argentina tour just to, because he's still trying to find his ground because he was in the background And now he's trying to find his place.
But it'll be too late to fire him, no matter what.
Exactly.
Because 1 year World Cup, you can't replace the coach
And then
1 year out of the World Cup.
Yeah, the Crusaders coach is like, oh, if you don't pick me, maybe he's not saying it, but everyone else is saying it. If you don't pick me, I'm going. Okay, we let Rennie go. He went to Australia, tried to do his best, didn't work, you know, and we let the Australian coach go to England, try to do his best.
We let Jamie Joseph go.
Exactly. And what happened? It doesn't, the coach can only do so much, it's up to the players.
It was also New Zealand's succession plan.
Yeah.
Like, you can only be sounds to me right now, like you can only be an All Blacks coach if you come up through assistant.
Come through the ranks.
Yeah, come through the ranks.
Yeah. Hansen would never pick Foster if he didn't believe in him. You know, it wasn't up to anyone else. Hansen had the last say. You know, who do you want to be the next All Black coach? Okay. Maybe Foster was in the background. Maybe Foster's been there for a long time. Maybe he was the next one in line, but Hansen believed in him. Why? It's not up to us to question that.
Of course it is. Of course that is. I don't agree with that. Like, no, of course it is.
But do you agree with the All Blacks coaching succession plan? Like, you gotta be a head coach, and you can't be a head coach unless you're assistant.
Look, you know what? It's a business. It's a business.
Yeah.
Present your CV. Show us what you've got. Show us what you've done. If you have a look at Foster's CV, it's only ever been as an assistant, right? And that's it. He's got nothing else. It's as an assistant coach. He's got no Super Rugby. He's always been an assistant. Therefore, ergo, your CV tells me that you're ever going to be an assistant. This is a business. It's nothing more than a fucking business. Unless you've actually been a team leader and you've stood up. But even then, like, Foster himself hasn't actually led a team.
Okay, so if Blues beat the Crusaders in the Super 12 or Super Rugby final...
Would I think that Razor is a better coach? 100% I would. Why? Because his history tells us he's a better coach.
Even though he lost.
McDonald has only won once. Razor's history tells us, hey, you've led a team, you've done all of this, your business tells me. I'm just saying it's a business.
You?
Well, Razor does have a good record. He's won with Crusaders multiple times. He's won with the under.
He is the most successful
New Zealand
coach in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But would you...
But I think the reason why he's not there, because he had to come up as assistant in the All Blacks. He had to come up the ranks.
But it's very hard to
because
come
it's the
up
way New Zealand Rugby does their coaching thing. Like the last time they, the last time New Zealand RFU, the last time New Zealand Rugby scrapped the coaching staff of the All Blacks was after John Mitchell.
Yes.
After John Mitchell, they said, "Nah, fuck that." And then
we had to reevaluate and realise, mate, we are...
Look at Fozzie's fucking actual coaching history. Like, look at it. Identify it. Look at it. Even Kara, like, you look at it. How many fucking Super Rugby has this guy done?
A lot.
As head coach.
None.
As a head coach, he's done none. He's done nothing. He has done shit. He has run the fucking coattails of everybody else, and he has not proven I can do this on myself. And what they turned around and what they did was, hey, you know what? We're going to give you a shot at the title.
But never did
For
Steve
what?
Hansen. Steve Hansen was, he was on the coattails of Graham Henry.
But Steve Hansen didn't go be assistant coach of fucking Chiefs and Blues and all of this stuff. Steve Hansen, his actual being has always been through New Zealand Rugby. He's done like under 21s, under 19s, fucking the Colts, all this stuff. He's come through New Zealand rugby. Now we have to listen to Fozzie, who fucking, oh my God.
Well, you can see how this is going to play out.
And that's why we have fucking this All Blacks fucking captain.
Let's see how this weekend goes, eh?
Who
Let's see how this weekend goes.
whose own mother, like 2 years ago, was like, he shouldn't play another game in his life. Like,
His own
he's
mother?
just so
Really?
fucking.
What happened?
So because of his neck injury, his
Yeah.
mum came
Yeah.
out and was like, I don't want him playing rugby anymore. His neck and all of this shit. And like,
Oh,
fucking
you're talking
hello.
about Steve.
I'm talking about Sam Cane. His mum, his own mum, came on fucking. I don't want him to play anymore. You're not the only one. We don't want him to play anymore as well because he's not even. He does not command. It's like, you know what? I'll tell you what, Richie, right? Like, you know what it's like with Islanders, right?
Okay.
Islanders
so
are a
who would you
different-
want to be the captain? Who would you want to be the captain, Cameron?
I reckon Adi, Adi.
Adi Sevilla, yeah. Okay.
I'm Artie.
Adi.
I think he's the best one.
Here's the thing, though. Artie doesn't actually want it because he thinks that he can't play the same if he's trying to captain. But I'll
Right,
tell you
right.
what, in game 2, Artie...
Right. Well, that's not captain material then.
No. But here's the thing, Artie. In game 2, you wouldn't have been saying to yourself, oh, who's going off? You would have been, Sam Cane,
So,
you're fucking going off,
Did
cunt."
anyone ask Sam Cane if he wanted to be captain?
100%. He got asked, I can do it. So you played 5 games this year for Super Rugby. We want you to be the captain. Do you think you should be the captain? And he's like, I can do it.
Do you like her voice so really low, eh? I can do it.
Fucking go do your
You
nuts,
don't
cunt.
know.
Get the fuck off the field. You can't even fucking reach over and win a turnover. You didn't even know who should go off in the game. And you know what? Instead of sending yourself off, cunt, you send Artie off. Like, fuck you. Like,
Well,
what the fuck?
that was a big shambles, eh?
That was
Oh.
it. Because that was the new rules. You know, if you came on, if you went off when that player was going to get simbined, and that was it. The rules had changed. They were playing the old rules.
No, they weren't playing the old rules, Cutter. What it is that they have just spent the last 2 years during COVID playing Super Rugby rules. And we have different sets of rules because when someone gets kicked off, after 20 minutes, you can come back on. Now, the problem was Artie came back on, but guess what? He should have been off. But Sam Cane's like, oh, I guess you're going off. If he was a real captain, I'm playing shit today. I'll fucking go off, cunt.
Okay.
Are you telling me that you think that Sam Cane should be the captain of the All Blacks?
Why not? Why not?
Because he plays like shit and he has
Why
no inspiration.
not?
I'm telling you now, he doesn't. Whoever commands the Islanders is going to be the winner. Kieran Reid.
We're playing the Islanders. Oh, fuck. It's not not just
listen.
us against other nations, it's us against our own team.
Whoever
eh?
commands the Islanders are the winner. And you know what? You hear it through NRL all the time. Why have the Warriors not been successful? Because all the coaches don't know how to coach the coconuts. Am I right? Coconuts are a different breed. Everything's a fucking joke to us. I'm just saying.
I don't know what the answer to helping the Warriors is.
The answer to the Warriors is that Stacey should be coach and like fuck the Aussies.
The answer to the Warriors is give up. Just don't play no more. Just play for another team. Play for Manly.
I reckon they should go to Australia, eh? Warriors
Exactly.
Should go to Australia.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to get any good players.
No,
never
coming
get
down,
to come
living
to New Zealand.
to live in New Zealand. You ain't.
No.
No,
Yeah.
ain't-
And especially in COVID times where they know we can get a lockdown any minute now. Your government will lock us down and we can't ever go back home.
who's your favourite Manly player, Cutter?
Cameron Schuster.
A lot of New Zealanders follow certain teams.
Hey.
Yeah, a lot of New Zealanders, they follow certain NRL teams because
I
of
just
New
like
Zealanders.
them because I've always liked Manly.
A lot of New Zealanders follow NRL teams because of certain New Zealand players. If certain New Zealand players, and we had the budgets, they would play for the Warriors. Now, you know what? Like, there's some great fucking Manly players that have played in Manly. Like, 100%. You can't despite that. And that's probably why you feel some kind of connection with them.
No, because I like Sharks because of Peachy. I love Sharks
Yeah.
because Peachy was there.
Yeah, but you're not a Shark supporter. You're a Manly supporter.
I
Yeah.
am.
You're-
Because
you-
Richie was
and-
there, and that was it.
And
That was
that's
it for me.
And guess what? Matthew Ridge, he's from New Zealand cutter. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. If New Zealanders played for the Warriors, we would be a different kind of team.
Oh,
The
yeah.
problem is that we
But
don't have the budget, we don't have the
the
management,
first-
and a
when
lot of
Warriors
them
first came out,
and
they
a
were
lot of
mean.
them, they start in the junior grades, but we can't keep a hold of them. Why? Because we fucking fall in love with these old school players and play them to the death, which is similar to the All Blacks.
I don't think this
We
podcast
love
has
people
got a-
like
What-
Retallick.
What's
We
the
love
bet? What's the bet? The Dolphins are going to win the championship for the Warriors.
no way,
No way.
Nah.
no way,
No way. No way.
no way.
If they do, it's going to prove my point that you need
I'm just
to be
telling
based
you.
in Australia.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just
you need to
telling
be based
you.
in Australia,
No.
but they're not going to win. You can be based over there.
But can
they're
I
not gonna
ask
win.
you this? Like
Yeah.
this past weekend's game, sorry. Like let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
did you watch the games this weekend?
No.
How is it?
No.
Of course you didn't. But how is it that
I
the
was
Warriors get
You know what
a
I'm watching?
gouging?
I'm watching the
and-
Birmingham Commonwealth Games, and we are third on the table.
We're actually fifth on the table.
Third.
We're actually fifth on the table as of this morning because Canada and everything moved up
Yeah.
because you're not in touch. But it's okay.
I watched it.
How are you guys finding the Commonwealth Games?
Mean,
Yeah, because I haven't been watching there. I haven't been
Mean.
watching. I
mate.
haven't been watching.
You know, places that, high jump.
Yeah.
First time ever we had a male win the high jump. You know?
I'm
Our
gonna
girl
say
in the
this.
100 metres, 6th place.
I
In the
heard, I heard the
Commonwealth.
fastest man in the Commonwealth is from Wales.
I know, eh? But we laugh
And,
at that.
and that's the Commonwealth Games for you.
Yeah. Where's Usain Bolt for Jamaica? Where is he?
They're not in the Commonwealth, aren't they?
He's
Jamaica's in the
result.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, but he's
Yes.
no.
Oh.
Usain's like retired. But here's the thing.
Oh, he's retired.
Yeah.
Retired.
But how about the New Zealander in the triathlon and they gave him a 10-second penalty
Yeah.
because he didn't put his bike in because he
He took his helmet off too early.
which he
before
didn't.
What?
Yeah.
But he
So he got
didn't.
disqualified.
Yeah. No.
No. He had to give him
10-second penalty,
10
so he
seconds.
couldn't race for first,
But
and he had to go for second.
Oh.
yeah, they're saying that he took his bike, and then you look at all the photos. His bike's in. He's releasing his helmet. It's stuff like that. I don't know.
It's like that woman they got. She wasn't allowed to get her silver medal
Yeah.
because she came in the team. The cyclist.
She wasn't going to go for a third medal because there's only 4 in the whole thing, so only first and second.
Can I ask you this? What about if they're trans?
Oh, mate.
Mate.
What if they're
No,
trans?
your own
I
league.
don't think they should play like women's sports.
No, but in the Olympics last year, they let that one do the
Weightlifting.
The weightlifting.
weightlifting.
Yeah.
But what about this? You know how we've got NRL women's, right?
Yeah.
Like we've
They're
got,
allowed- yeah.
what if you got a trans in there? Like what the fuck?
Well, they haven't sorted out the science yet, eh? Because you can get like hormones and stuff
Yeah.
Of course.
to change you, like
course.
genetically, or
Okay, and
But-
you take hormone replacements for
Yeah.
the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
I identify myself as female.
But they're still bowling them over.
Yeah.
The trans woman in the women's game still bowling them over.
Like you look at the swing in America, right? And they've got that chick. I'm just saying, man. Like, if you can't fucking pump a baby out of your pussy, then, like, you just can't play.
Like, is it even fair?
No,
It's not fair, eh?
no.
I don't believe that it's fair because it's kind of different.
You've still got male hormones running through you.
Yeah.
You can take all the supplements you can to, make you female.
Reduce it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're still...
Yeah.
But it's still, right? Like, how would you feel?
I seen the photos. I was like, these are
No,
bloody
but
men.
like we just need to look at the Olympics last year, and you like look at that whatever her name was that was doing the weightlifting,
I think her name was Toni.
and I'm just thinking this. I'm like, fucking, you didn't even fucking win. You couldn't even fucking live. Like, fuck you. We did all this shit, and New Zealand was like, and the world was like, they're gonna compete. And you didn't fucking, you dropped all three. Like, fuck you. But I'm just like, surely not. You can't. You can't say that she's a dude, like she's a girl.
I mean, are there not enough of them? Are there not enough for them to have their own competition? Because
There is.
Because you know what, I think when I think about the game of rugby, right?
Yeah.
Like the game of rugby union, you got men's game, you got the women's game, right? If you had a trans game separate, I think that game would be more of a spectacle than watching the women's
Oh,
game.
yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah,
It's like when you watch like the netball.
yeah.
And men's, yeah.
Well, when you go like the men's and the Fafas play, like it is like fucking
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Press goes to me, how come they can't beat the men? Men don't play netball. I went, but look at them. Their body is stronger. Their passes are stronger. You can't beat that. You can't beat a male's play of game.
So why can't they have their own, like, because that is a spectacle in itself, right?
Yeah, but they don't.
We could watch it.
The
We could watch
problem
that.
is that we're facing in the world right now is they don't identify as like other.
No.
They identify as female, so they expect the rest of the world to identify them as female.
But not all of them, because a lot of them identify as female, but again, a lot of them identify as other. That's why you get other.
Yeah.
That's why you get the other.
They want to be identified as other.
And the biggest problem
but-
with today is that it's not them that has to adjust; it's us.
Yeah, but that's the point, because at the same time, we talk about that LGBT. Whatever.
QA, but what the
QA,
fuck it is?
But see, there's people.
OPP, yeah, you know me.
There's people that identify with that group, right? But there's also people of the same ilk that don't identify with that. They don't believe in it at the same time. You know what I mean? So they get like taken out of this group, even though they are gay or trans or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if not every trans.
It's a whole new, we're not.
See, not every gay or trans identifies with being in that group.
I don't understand.
If they don't
But
agree.
unfortunately, the world that we live in today, they are.
Yeah, here that's just how
we have
how it
to,
is. This is just how it is.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling you right now, because like we just experienced it with like Manly and some
All I want to
rainbow,
know is
rainbow colours on their jerseys. That
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. At the same time, people don't care, right?
there's a whole
the-
bunch
at
of
the same
people that
time.
don't care.
But is they
And for a whole bunch of people, it's irrelevant. But guess what? For a certain sect of people, it is irrelevant.
yeah, that's
and
what I mean.
unfortunately, because for a certain sect of people,
Mm.
the rest of us have to live with it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
the-
think that's the biggest problem with today is that we
Exactly.
always constantly worrying about, well, fucking, hold on a minute. Like, okay, so you want to be inclusive and you want to be inclusive and I have to do this. And, well, fuck me, mate.
yeah,
And that's I don't think the problem, it's this. We have a whole bunch of people who push their own agendas.
mm.
And unfortunately for the majority, you have to eat shit on it. Because this minority's come through and they've pushed their agenda and you're like,
yeah,
okay, sweet as, come on in.
and because
Come on in, mate.
And it does help when the corporate world adopts it.
100%. Because it's like, hold on, we've got this sector of
Because now
people.
our money is involved now. Now our
We've got this sector of
Now-
people and they think this, and guess what? If we think opposite it, it's going to cut this and we're not going to have this.
exactly, it's affecting our putting food on the table and the roof over our heads.
And that's just the world that we live in right now.
All I want to know is, will RTS stay with the Blues next season?
Oh yeah, how you?
100. 100.
He can't go anywhere else.
Oh.
He can't go anywhere else.
How come?
I think he'll kill himself if he goes.
No, I just think that it's like, Kara, you're talking about somebody who you think is like going to be swayed by money. This guy is not swayed by money. This guy has money. That's the difference.
It's not swayed by money, it's swayed by the influence of the coaches. Like, you know.
RTS is not swayed by money. He's already got fucking money. He's been playing NRL since he was 18 years old. He's got fucking money. The biggest problem with the New Zealand public is this. Oh, you were so willing to accept Sonny Bill Williams, who plays the exact same position, but you won't accept RTS. Yet RTS, as a human being, and if you look at his profile, is actually fucking better than Sonny Bill.
What if, oh yeah. What if
He
he was supposed to
actually
play?
is.
See, it's funny because I never seen him do anything special all season.
No.
He maybe
For the Blues,
he maybe did 1 or 2 breaks, but not enough because he had that injury.
I'll
remember?
ask you this: when
Okay,
Sonny
so
Bill
if-
played for fucking the Chiefs, did he do anything special? No, he just did some back passes. That's
Okay,
it.
so
That's it.
if Fraser asks RTS, hey, we will pay off your bill to the Blues for you to come for the Crusaders.
He won't. He's got his own money. Kara, you're talking about a person that has money. You're not talking
It's
about
not about
fucking.
money, it's about...
He's got his own money. Like, this guy's already a millionaire. You're talking about a millionaire that's playing a sport that he wants to play.
Actually, I'll go as far as saying he probably didn't deserve to be in the All Blacks this year. Maybe next year, but not this year. I don't think.
I don't see how RTS being in the All Blacks this year is any different from Sonny Bill. Sonny Bill did nothing to be in the All Blacks. He did nothing.
Yeah, for their first year.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he played fucking
think-
2 games for the fucking counties,
Same
and then he
deal,
fucking
same
went and
deal.
jumped in the Chiefs. Oh, there's nothing there.
But
He
at the
did
same time,
nothing.
he did have a certain set of skills no one else did at 12.
I'm just gonna tell you, like, this guy. The difference between him and Sonny Bill is that this guy is gonna absorb everything. He will absorb it all, and I'm telling you now,
Do you think he'll go back to league?
RTS will become
No.
one of the greatest All Blacks that we will ever see.
We probably didn't do him. We probably did him a disfavor when we put him in the All Blacks the first year.
I'm
Because
telling
if that was
you
his
now.
goal, because that was his goal to come to rugby to be in the All Blacks, right?
How do you guys accept that Sonny Bill is okay, but RTS is not? Like, I don't get it. Is it because,
Nah, 'cause
like,
we
is
learned
it
out-
because Sonny Bill
Nah,
played for the Chiefs?
think-
Like, I don't get it.
No, I think it's just a thing of working your way towards a goal.
This
And
guy,
if you just hand the goal,
this
if you just
guy
hand the goal
since
to him,
Otahu College has been working nothing but a fucking goal.
that's only 1 year.
This
That's only 1 year.
this
I don't
guy-
get. It's only 1 year.
Because, like, I'm telling you now, like, World Cup's around the corner. If you don't take him this year, you can't develop him. But this guy has done more for New Zealand rugby in his short life than fucking anybody on this table. And I'm telling you now, he's done more for New Zealand rugby than fucking some idiot like Sonny Bill Williams did.
I'm just saying. they
I'm
could've just given
telling
him
you
1
now,
year.
he is going to be one of the greatest All Blacks that we've seen. Trust me. Why? Because he's a fucking sponge.
I think it's part of giving that All Blacks jersey away like nothing.
But
Yeah,
here's the
exactly.
thing.
It's about
We've
that.
Just give
got...
it to anybody.
Yeah. We'll give
Oh,
it Soul
they-
Cooler for one
we're-
game.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Gus.
100%. We're going to
We'll
give
give
it
it to
to
Gus one
anybody.
game.
Hey!
This guy, This guy has played school rugby all the way through,
yep.
and guess what?
We know
New
his
Zealand
potential.
rugby fucking failed him, and NRL went, you know what, son? Come here. We're gonna fucking make you rich.
We know his
When-
potential. We know
Yeah,
his potential.
And I
We
just
should
think,
let him be more hungry.
watch the space. Watch the space. This
I
guy
think-
is going to be one of the greatest.
I think
He'll
the-
be one of the greats.
I think the All Blacks just give away the jersey too easily these days. You know?
I just think hold this space.
And I think
RTS will
I
be
think
one of the
RTS
greats.
and St. Williams are in the sort of like the same boat.
I don't believe it. RTS is a different league from Sonny Bill Williams, 100%. Sonny Bill Williams with his fucking Muhammad.
I
I'm gonna
haven't
praise
been
Allah
a big
bullshit.
Sonny Bill Williams fan.
Even though like he was Chiefs, but it's okay.
Well, that guy is loyal to the dollar, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
RTS
He's
is
a
not.
true
This is the
professional.
thing that I don't like. People don't understand about Roger is that this guy is he's gonna absorb everything.
Yeah,
everything.
he wants it. He's hungry.
But I believe
He is gonna
he's
absorb it.
Auckland through and through.
If
He's
this
Auckland
guy,
runs through his blood.
if Roger
He's
had,
blues through his
if
blood.
Roger didn't go
If
to
he goes to
NRL,
Crusaders next year, I
If-
didn't say it.
if
I didn't say it.
If Roger didn't go to the NRL, he would have been one. He would already be one of the greats. The question is, like, to be quite honest, Ngalapi, like, what's all that about?
The Muppy. Oh, did you hear his did you
I
see
read
his,
it all, bro. And
his-
you know
his
what?
Twitter?
Yeah, I did.
I read it all.
What do you guys
and-
think about that? Because I thought, okay, this guy is like flexing right now.
No,
you know?
I believe him 100%. He deserved all of 100%, bro. He was a fucking cannibal, and he should have been given.
Bit one-dimensional, was he?
Everything
bit
that
one-dimensional.
everything that he is saying, I'm like, shot, brother. You're 100%. And you know what? He is exactly what I'm trying to say right now. All Blacks fucking roped them up, and you're playing this, and you can't. He could have played for Tonga. He can play for Tonga now because he fucking here. I'm
should-
just saying.
I
Good
don't
on
know.
him.
I don't know.
Good on
He
him.
was a bit one-dimensional. He was just a crash and bash dude. Didn't have a kicking game. He wasn't a good distributor. I don't know. Just too.
Well,
His defense was a bit
Okay.
suspect.
I'm just
So-
saying Havili's kicks are fucking shit.
If he scored the winning try for Ireland, that game against Ireland, would you think otherwise?
Who?
Lomapi.
I don't know because he
How?
didn't.
I know, but he didn't. Okay, but had he scored that winning try and be like, "You're a god," blah, blah, blah.
I think the way Ireland played, All Blacks probably needed Lomapi to be that different,
That crash ball.
that crash guy.
I just think this. All Blacks tie up a lot of Pacific Island players who have so much talent, and they fucking entangle them into the All Blacks that they can't go off and play for somebody else. That's what fucks me off. Like, you know what? Who is he second string to? He's second string to fucking Sonny Bill. Like, if you look back, they picked Sonny Bill, someone who came from fucking NRL, over him. Well, he should have been allowed to go play for Tonga, right? But he couldn't. Why couldn't he? Because he got selected for All Blacks. And I just think that All Blacks, Australia, England, that they tie down all these Pacific Island countries. I just think this. If you don't make the team, you get to go play for your island country. That's it.
So do you believe if Lomapi played in the Ireland test, would that have made a difference?
Well, you look at him compared to
And if he did, would you guys
100.
think of
Actually,
him?
I actually do.
Because I think with the All Blacks with their midfield, they had Rico and Havili.
Okay.
Rico's a winger.
Rico's a wing. You know what? Here's the thing. Rico's a winger, and here's the choices that you get to make it. And this is where Foster is shit. Like, this is where I believe that Foster is a fucking piece of shit. If you're gonna play Will Jordan and the Fijian on the winger, then you put the fucking number 10 as who's your number 10?
Wanga.
Oh,
Yeah, but if you're gonna play like Caleb and you're going to play Rico as your wingers, who's your number 10?
Yeah.
Bowden.
Bowden.
Barrett, yeah.
But he didn't do that. And Foster's a fucking idiot. It's like, yo, you've got all of these star players at your fucking fingertips, but you want to intermix. No.
Well, the question is the midfield. Because we had a Blues Crusaders midfield all through those tests,
Yeah.
right? We never had a proper chemistry there,
No.
right? It was
We
either
also
Rico
had-
or Javier.
we had COVID as well. Come on, mate. We had COVID as well. Like Havili the first game and even the second game, he's fucking got COVID. Who's the best number 12 in the world in New Zealand at this point in time?
Right now.
100.
It depends on what kind of number 12 you're looking for.
No,
Kiki
who
number 12
is?
or-
It doesn't matter. Who's the best number 12? Like, there's only you have the best or not the best. Who's the best number 12?
For New Zealand?
Shut up! It's Havili. Like, fuck up! You're like fucking sitting there.
Well, he's the best number 12 we got right now. Because he's inconsistent, really, if you think about it.
Here's your choices, because the real number 12s that we've got in this team that they've selected is this: you can have Havili or you can have Goodhue.
I'd rather have Goodhue.
Because the reality for
Is
you,
Goodhue 13?
well, it's the same positions. They put them in the same positions. But Rico's not. Rico's a fucking winger, mate. And you know
Yeah,
what?
but he played 13.
But
through
I'll tell
high
you
school.
what. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
What do you do with wingers that like aren't wingers anymore?
When they get slower, like
Yeah. What do you do with them?
like Tana Umaga, put them in 13.
No,
in the
you
midfield.
just fucking guess what? You're not playing in the All Blacks anymore. Sorry, mate.
They didn't do that
That's-
with Umaga.
Well,
They put
they,
him in the midfield.
I'll tell you
Exactly.
what. The best.
And what did he do? He killed it. Him and Matanonu. Fuck.
I'll tell
Matanonu
you
at
what.
12.
The best
two-
winger that the All Blacks have ever had is who?
John
Oh,
Curran.
Doug Howlett.
Nah.
It's Jonah Lomu. And guess what? What did they do to Jonah when he slowed down? They didn't put him in number 12. They didn't put him in number 13. They said, fuck off. You're fucking useless, cunt.
You know how they should put the number 12 in the midfield? Probably Julian Zavere.
Julian.
Probably.
Really?
Probably, actually, with the
They should.
size.
No
They should.
With the
way.
For
With
Wellington
the-
anyway,
no
not for All Blacks.
way.
No, but for
No
the
way.
size. I get what
Hurricanes.
you're saying. For the
For
size.
experience.
Yeah, 100.
But
Okay,
I think
all I want to know is next Super 12 rugby, Chiefs are going to win it.
no, I don't think so. We should be asking who's going to win the test this weekend. All Blacks or South Africa?
All Black.
South Africa.
They got they got face, show face.
South Africa.
Otherwise,
South Africa's going to win.
no.
South
No.
Africa will beat New Zealand by 24 points. Do you want to know why?
Why?
All Blacks have forgotten how to play forwards rugby, and unfortunately, you know what? We've always prided ourselves, and we had South Africa on our side, that we played a different kind of rugby. South Africa has now moved to the fucking the northern hemisphere, right? All of these, you know, and this is the thing that fucks me off the most. Like England and Ireland is like, you're only better rugby players because fucking South Africa playing your fucking comp, cunts. That's the reality. We just don't have the forward packs. They're gonna eat us, bro. 24 points.
I reckon we're going to lose. We're going to come back losers.
We'll lose the first one.
Inzada won't know what to do with Foster. He's going to have to be the coach for the World Cup.
I'm telling you now, we got 3 games.
And we're
I'm
not going to
telling
make
you
the
this.
finals. We're not going to make any
Tomorrow's
quarterfinals.
game, we're gonna lose 100%. But I'm telling you now, the next 2 games we will win.
Really?
I believe that we'll win. We'll win the test overall. We'll lose tomorrow's game, but I believe the next 2 games we're gonna win.
Isn't it part of the championship?
Yeah.
It's championship B. So we got Australia,
Argentina.
Argentina.
Argentina play Australia, and then we're playing South Africa. But nah,
I just think
these
that
guys hate them. But Kiwis,
You know
all the
what?
way.
I just think, for the championship, like with South Africa, I just think, oh, you don't want to play Super Rugby? Fuck off. Go play with each other. Like, that's what I think. Don't make them better by including in them. Like, you know what? Guess what? You've got Samoa, you've got Tonga, or
But there's no money there. There's no money in Samoa and Tonga. You know when South Africa left Super Rugby, I think that fucked us. That fucked New Zealand rugby.
well, it only fucked New Zealand rugby because we don't play forwards. But like you say that there's no money in Samoa or like Tonga, if we go to these countries, they're going to fill these stadiums. That's the reality. And guess what? The whole world relies on these countries for their players. Like, fuck it, mate. Like, I would rather go to Apia and fucking watch Samoa play the All Blacks than watch South Africa, who don't even really want to play with us because they think that they're better than us. Make the countries that feed your teams better at rugby. Why? Because guess what? Eventually you'll be able to get still better players.
I think it's not just the ticket sales. It's TV rights and how you gonna charge the rest of the world to watch the game.
It's weird though,
It's all of that stuff.
Because a 5-year-old still has to pay fucking rugby fees that pays for fucking All Blacks.
Yeah.
A part of like when you go and play for Waitemata, even if you're playing for fucking midgets, a part of your fees goes to New Zealand rugby so that All Blacks can play. So what? I would rather develop Pacific Island rugby because that's where your core players come from. And you know what? You've had some fucking legends come through the Pacific Islands.
They have to.
Wouldn't you rather?
They have to find a way to monetize all that because there's no money in it. The way I see it right now, all the money is in the northern hemisphere. All the money in rugby union is in the northern hemisphere. Right?
It's always been there, bro. So what's the difference?
And that's the reason why
I just think
South Africa's gone there. That's why
What?
South Africa's gone over there.
But what's the fucking difference? It's always been there. So you know what? Develop the countries that feed your teams, get the best players, leave the leftover players, don't make them wait fucking 2 years. And that's it. The amount of people that play rugby in New Zealand is probably equivalent to the amount of people that play rugby in Australia.
Yeah, but until New Zealand can sustain to keep our players here, is the day that can happen. Because at the moment we can't compete with the amount of money they're offering our players overseas.
Then you know what?
Japan,
Stop.
even Japan.
Stop signing up people and saying that you have to commit to New Zealand for like 5 years. Be like this. Hey, we want you to play for New Zealand for 5 years while it's in season. But off season, you can do whatever you fucking want. Do you think that would change things?
No, it still comes down to money. It still comes down to the big commercial
Do you think
budgets.
the likes of Whitelock and that stayed here for the money? If there's no money involved, do you think they stayed here for the money?
I think the All Blacks can afford to keep 1 or 2 players here, like they did with Richie McCaw and Dan Carter. I reckon Richie McCaw and
Whitelock's in
Dan
the same
Carter.
boat.
Oh, Dan Carter had offers left, right and centre.
He did, but I think NZRFU threw all their money in.
Or was it
To keep them here.
have the emblem, I played for the All Blacks.
I'll give
Was
you an
that-
example. Mackenzie. He goes to Japan for a season, wants to earn $1 million. Fucking go for it. I
Yeah.
will, fucking go for it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying our best players, right, were Richie McCaw and Dan Carter that time.
They didn't stay for the money.
If any club overseas offered them more money to go over, I reckon NZR
But they did.
matched it to keep them. But they can't do it to all the players. They can only do it to 1 or 2 players. And I think Richie McCaw and Dan Carter got that deal to stay
If you
here.
listen to
You say Dan Carter, but Dan
Yeah.
Carter played
If you
in
listen to
Japan
his thing-
in the off season.
Yeah, afterwards.
He
After
played
Yeah.
for
when
France.
his peak, after his peak, after
What's
his
it?
peak.
I'm just saying that, like, the end, like, I said it before, New Zealand rugby, they fucking get their claws on all of these players, not only Pacific players, so they can't go play anywhere else. They do it to their own fucking players. But what's wrong with turning around and saying, in our season you play for us, and off season you can go do whatever you want?
It depends on the seasons overseas, their schedule. Because right now we got that rule: if you don't play, you can't play All Blacks if you don't play Super Rugby that year, right?
Yeah, but like, so we say that, but Tui Palutu played one game for Ponies, and all of a sudden, he's playing for the All Blacks.
Yeah, or club rugby. At least play one
Yeah,
game.
that's just fucking bullshit, isn't it? And then like,
But South Africa adopted that rule. You can play overseas and come back to the Springboks. The Wallabies did it too. You can play overseas and come back to the Wallabies.
I just believe this: if you don't make a 30-man squad, then you should be able to go and play wherever you fucking want. And they don't do that.
No, we don't do that here.
100. If you don't make the 30-man squad, go and play for whoever you want. Here's where it's at, guys. We're gonna do all of this. You can fucking go hard out as much as you want. If you, yep, sweet. Sorry, guys, you didn't make it. I want to go play for Fiji. Yeah, you can't because you already played. Like, you're part of the squad. Oh, I want to go play for Tonga. Like, yeah, sorry, we've roped you in too. Yeah, that's just bullshit.
It's. I think with rugby union in the world, like World Rugby, they've got different rules to the other sports. Like if you look at soccer, right? If you look at FIFA, they make sure that the best players are playing in the World Cup. They don't care about contracts and eligibility. As long as
You can play
as
for
long
any
as-
club
as long as
team
you
that
play
you
any club-
want, and you can play for
Exactly.
any home country that you want.
Exactly, rugby union doesn't have that.
No,
No,
but that's
But
what
they
I'm
should.
trying to say.
They should.
All Blacks fucking type all these Pacific Islanders into New Zealand rugby when it's like, you know what, we actually could make world rugby better. We could make it better if you just let go of all the players that don't meet your team. But they
Exactly.
don't. And it's the same for Australia. All the players that don't make your top side, they can go, no, you got to wait 2 years. And guess what? A lot of these guys in 2 years are like, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be able to make the top side. And then they do it all over again. And then they're just stuck in this fucking cycle of bullshit.
So, my question to you guys, because of all this politics in rugby union, we just gotta deal with it. We just gotta,
Everybody's going to eat shit on everything.
as
It's
as rugby fans, we just gotta deal with the cards that are given to these players,
I'm
and we
just
gotta deal
saying,
with these players.
out of all the rugby talk that we've done tonight, I'm just saying, do not write off RTS because you do not know what this man is made of, and I'm telling you now, you're gonna regret it. He's a million times better than fucking Sonny Bill. 1 million.
mean.
mean.
I
100.
don't really care.
Okay, predictions score for this weekend's game. What's the score?
All Blacks 12, South Africa 32.
Oh,
What's your score,
All
Carla?
Blacks 24, South Africa 12.
All Blacks gonna have 15.
Oh yeah.
Springboks 21.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
You can only make a score based on what you've seen, right? That's it. And from what I've seen, it's like, fuck, we can't even beat Ireland, mate. South Africa owned that fucking South Africa owned Southern Hemisphere. Like they did. Right.
So
South
if-
Africa played part of their Super Rugby, whatever equivalent, and they dominated. And we can't even beat a team that South Africa demolished.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
All right. Sweet. So what's up during the week? What are you gonna do? Are you got plans for the game? How does your household
Whoa.
go with Test rugby these days?
No, we just do the same stuff. We fucking just buy a box and watch rugby. And I'll tell you what, like, I'm a huge Warriors supporter, eh?
Yeah.
And like, so like, I've got a husband, and he just supports the Warriors by proxy, right? And I'll tell you what, he supports the Warriors by proxy, but like his heart is probably like he's like a South supporter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, and like, so every week we watch these Warriors, and then he's like, I don't know why you make me watch this team. I'm like, yo, this year's our year, bro, because I'm like that hearty.
Every year.
Every year's our year, and the refs are cheats, and I'm that kind of supporter. Fuck these guys, they're all shit, and you know, we've got fucking members seats and everything like that. With the Warriors, like, you guys can say that I'm one-eyed and everything like that, but I'm like, come on, man. Surely the rest of the world sees what I see.
So what do you think the Warriors need to do to go back to the top 8?
Look, people are going to say that I'm fucking racist, but we've got too many Polynesians in our team.
The Warriors left what's his name, Isaiah Papali on the table, and he went to Eels, and he
You know
prospered.
what? Like, you know, I was part of it when Isaiah was like playing, and like, I belong to all of the fan pages on Facebook, and they're like, oh, he's shit. The fucking kid was like 19, you know, and I'm like, he comes off the bench and like they moan and shit. I'm like, this fucking kid's like, what do you expect from a 19-year-old? Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, and it drives me nuts. Every player that the Warriors and the Warriors supporters are like, they're fucking mud. They've always been quite young, and then you see them and they go off and they're amazing, and you're just like, fuck my life. But like with Isaiah,
But he's not the first, because I
and
remember.
he's definitely not going to be like you. These guys crucify Reece Walsh. You're like this, and they're like, he's this, and he snorts coke, and he does. And you're like, yo, bro, like, he's fucking 19. What were you doing at 19? At 19, I was fucking handing out the pen in fucking Avondale, like, in the car park drinking, asking somebody for their ID to go into the club because it was fucking 21. But you get what I mean, right? Like, it's like the biggest problem of New Zealand and tall poppy syndrome. Like, we suffer from it, like, dramatically. Right now, everybody like fucking rides on this kid, Reece Walsh. He is from a natural. Look, you get players, talent, and then there's raw natural talent. Like Reece Walsh, you can't train that shit that this kid's got. But everyone wants to cut him down. He was snorting coke, and he was like, you know what? Like, I remember you, like, 2 years ago, you fucked around on your missus. Fuck up. Do you get what I'm saying, though? It's just like everybody's so quick to judge and bring everybody down. Like, the society that we have right now is just terrible. It's, like, fucking horrible. But
doesn't help the Warriors winning games, right?
I think the biggest problem, like I said, with the Warriors is that, like, we just need some key playmakers in there. And guess what? They're not the people that we have at the moment. You know, you've got some people that just have brain explosions, but, like, for me, I'll always support them. And I'll throw my remote every now and then, but I'm just a Warriors supporter through and through. And sometimes you're just going to be like...
For you.
Sometimes some players, one week they're going to be your fucking hero and next week they're going to be your zero. Like, it's no different from any other team. Like, we look at people, like, you know what? I look at Penrith, and like, a lot of people are like, oh, they're amazing. And I look at them and I'm like, fucking pompous fucks. What a bunch of stuck-up cunts. And you look at them now, like, from an idol perspective and a hero perspective, the only people that actually support Penrith are people from Penrith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, they're dicks, bro. Like, are you ever going to look at somebody like, I'm not a huge Sean Johnson fan, but I like what he's done for league. But nobody's going to look at Sean Johnson and be like, what a fucking cock. But they'll always look at someone like Cleary and be like, he's such a cock. It's different. It's just...
Because he's got bigger expectations, I guess. Nathan Cleary.
I just think it's... You can be... I'll tell you this. How come Penrith and all of their players like Tu'u and Lalau and like all of those players, how can they be like this and they're but you have somebody like you look at Souths and you look at some of their players, but if they act the same way, it's different. Do you know what I mean?
Like what? Like how different?
You know what I mean? Like if you're like Aboriginal.
Like they have big expectations as well.
No, I'm just saying like if you're Aboriginal. Right? Like, you know the players in the South that I'm talking about that are like Abo and everyone's like, oh, they're so arrogant. But
Yeah.
you look at Cleary and I'm like, well, he's so arrogant. But he's not as arrogant as this person. You're like, actually.
So it's a race thing, you reckon?
100. 100%.
And that is why. When it comes to Australia, they have. It's funny how they bring the whole diversity thing into the game when they don't even
Like, do you like laugh when they're like
it's a contradiction,
when
right?
they do like the Abo thing and
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
Like
No, I do.
we're the country, and you're like,
I do.
the fuck.
Especially in rugby union, how they have the whole Aborigine sort of culture thing before the games, especially in rugby union.
Yeah, and you're like,
and this is a country that's known for, putting them down.
I just think this. I'm just like, you know what? Like some atrocities happened in New Zealand with the New Zealand Māoris, but like, guess what? We didn't fucking. I'm pretty sure that the people that came to New Zealand didn't fucking chase people off cliffs. On
but
horseback.
see, that's what we're talking about when we started this podcast. We're talking about the whole diversity thing, right? They're ticking boxes. They want to be seen to the rest of the world like we care about this stuff when they really don't, right? That's why I don't believe all that cultural stuff they do with the Aboriginal stuff before the games. I'm thinking, man, you guys ain't even like that.
For me, it's this. You have all these players that played State of O, right? And then they turn around and said, oh, well, actually, we're going to go and play for Samoa. It was fucking huge in Australia. They're like, you only play State of O if you want to play for Australia. And you're like, for me personally, I'm like, but what about the other 4 years? So Brian To'o turns around and says, hey, just so that you know, I know I played State of O, but I'm going to play for Samoa for the World Cup. And fucking Australia blew up, right? If you don't want to do this, then you shouldn't be playing State of O and da-da-da. And you're like, well, that happens once every 4 years. So for the other 3 years, is it okay that he plays for New South Wales or should he not? And in the World Cup year, should he not play? Like, I don't get it. I'm like, they grew up in Australia, but they They identify who they identify with, and they can play for whoever they want to play for. Like, if somebody in New Zealand, let's just say that Roger, right, and he's playing for the Warriors, and he turned around and said, actually, I don't want to play for New Zealand, I want to play for Samoa. Would I have a problem with it? No. Like, I don't believe that New Zealanders would have a problem with that. But Australians, they're like, you shouldn't be playing in State of Origin. That's the picking foreground for like Australia. And it's like, but if they don't get picked for the Australian team, are they allowed to go and play for their country that they want to go play for, or no? Can they, or do they have to ask your permission first?
Well, if you talk about Luai, right? Well, they've got plenty of other halves that can, Australia got plenty of other halves that can.
They've got fucking how many?
Yeah, exactly.
How many halves can they? You got fucking endless, right?
Mm.
So Luai's like, yeah. Papali'i's like, yeah, I'm going to go play for Samoa. I think the biggest problem that I had was when everyone turned around and said they're playing for Tonga, nobody had a problem.
Yeah.
All those boys that turned around and said, oh, no, I'm playing for Tonga. The problem that I have a problem with is this. All those boys that said they're playing for Tonga then couldn't play for State of O.
Mm.
And you're like, what the fuck? Hold on a minute. So all these kids want to go and play for Tonga. You say, yeah, you can go play for Tonga, but you won't let them play for State of O, even though they're fucking born and bred there. But it's okay, because if they commit a crime, you can just send them to New Zealand, because that's probably where they're originally born from. Like, fuck off, mate. You only want to take the good with the good.
Yeah.
Typical Australia. Who do you support anyway?
For
State of O.
New
He's
South
a
Wales.
blues. He's a blues
I'm a
guy.
blues for
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm a Queenslander.
Queenslanders.
I'll tell you, I'm a Queenslander only because before the Warriors had a team, always a huge. So even though.
No, it was because our brothers supported blues.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. I don't even fucking grow up with those cunts. Like, that's to be honest. But because I followed the Broncos a lot, but my favourite team was my favourite team was the Doggies, but I'd always pick Broncos
over the Doggies.
Yeah, well, I liked the Doggies only because Jared McCracken, he was like, fuck, that's a New Zealander, and he's like the hardest cunt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
pretty handsome guy too.
from a Winfield Cup perspective, I always followed the Broncos. And then the Warriors got like a team, and I was like, well, New Zealand's got a team. That's the team that I follow. And they were pretty good. Like, boy. Boy, good.
Man. Look, we're almost at 3 hours.
Some of that's edited out.
I'm not editing anything out. This is all good.
Oh, bro. Edited out.
No way. Toni, Kala, thank you guys for jumping back on the 135
on
bus.
On the bandwagon.
On the bus. You guys, we were riding into town back to Ranui on the bus.
Let's go.
We're on the bus about. But thanks guys for jumping on the podcast. Hope you guys had fun.
We did.
Thanks, my man.
Okay. Bye.